I think we're live again. Hello, everybody. Before we start, please let us know if there's any sync issues or video issues. We're trying some new settings, so hopefully we don't have that sync issue like we had the last show. We apologize for that, but hopefully
probably my fault.
It's all Trevor's fault. Definitely all Trevor's fault. But let Steve know in the live chat if we have any issues real quickly before we get started, so we can suss those out and fix those if need be. And while we're waiting for you guys to respond, I'll go around real quickly and introduce the panel that we have now. If you would like to join, if you're a Patreon and you're listening, please send me a message and I'll get you the link. You can come in. But now we have, obviously, Trevor is back with us. Welcome back, Trevor. I hope you're fully stocked on beers.
Yeah, I've got 3 right here, and I've got a fridge behind me. I just don't necessarily want to open the big ones just yet.
Excellent.
Depends what Joe says.
Fair enough.
Joe is back with us. There's Joe. Hello again, Joe. And then you want to pronounce your name for me? Clear?
Flavor. I honestly don't care how anyone says it.
Okay, Flavor. Sure, we'll go with that.
Dude in the top right.
Yeah. And we also have Bill Ludlow. Welcome.
Yes. Hi, how you guys doing? Glad to be here.
Great, Bill.
Well, we got to do the Shimlani thing for him. There we go, Bill. We know you're in on the...
Only
the top row does
it.
Okay,
for some beer.
Wait, it's like the Jewish Illuminati would be something like around that.
I can't. I don't think I can do that. Yeah, that's going to be a little more difficult. I don't have coordination for that. You want to be like this?
Yeah.
There you go.
Like, yeah, it's
for our non-Gentiles out there. Okay.
There we go.
So Joe, do you want to just say it instead of writing it down on a piece of paper? You're more than welcome to.
Well, hey Jimmy, he wants to get on.
Okay. Well, if we have enough spaces, well, like I said, we'll definitely bring him on. Before we get to the new guy that just popped in, because that's interesting. All right. Let me say hey to Frustrated Atheist. You're not sporting your big arms like you were last night, but anyway.
No, I'm not. This is actually my new avatar.
Okay. Excellent. And the man that will be taking on Answers in Genesis, Dr. Nathaniel Jensen, Herman Mays. You're getting ready for your bout in a couple weeks.
Holy shit!
I brought the big guns in.
Hell yeah.
I don't mess around, boys.
Yep.
We don't play here.
So
I'll be ready.
And very cool thing. Also, I don't know if you've talked to him yet, Dr. Mace, but John Perry from Stated Clearly is also going to be on that week. He will be on the day before the actual debate. If you haven't seen Stated Clearly, his channel is awesome. He has a great way of explaining things. So he's going to be joining us the day before the debate to kind of go through the places that the average person can understand, and maybe that will help in that debate from trying to get through all the technical jargon. So, Dr. Mays, nonetheless, welcome. Glad to have you here.
I have one quick thing, Dr. Mays. Could you please do me a favor and ask Kent Hovind, not Ken Hovind, but Ken Ham, to unblock me on Twitter because it really hurts my feelings.
I don't think I have that much power.
Yeah, no, not really.
And finally, we have the man that is notorious on this show. He was actually voted number 2 in the most notorious guest that we have had. The voice of the Flat Earth movement, Wonton. Welcome, Wonton. Welcome back.
Say Occam's razor. Say it.
I'm sorry. There's a.
We silenced him. No, we didn't silence him. Wotan.
Can you hear us?
He doesn't want to talk to us.
Okay.
Why did he come in?
Speechless.
It would work on trust me. You'll be regretting that you. Can you
hear me now?
Cherish this silence. We can now, Wotan.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Say Occam's razor for us just once.
Occam's razor.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I guess let's begin with a wrap up. Number 1, Joe. The reason that you were obviously booted out. Let's just go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. The elephant in the room out of the way, because I am now convinced that you do not honestly hold to a belief that dinosaurs aren't a thing. I think you were full of shit on that. The viruses thing, I believe that you believe that. This, I think, was a fun little extra conspiracy to tack on the end of it. Convince me that I'm wrong.
Well, I thought it was pretty transparent.
You were totally transparent. That's the problem.
And not in the way that you think.
Yeah.
Okay, well...
transparent in that we can see right through you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm not going to argue against your beliefs.
Okay, good. Cool. All right, glad that's out of the way.
Right, so we all agree. Let's take a vote. Everybody that thinks Joe is a Poe?
Aye.
On dinosaurs.
On dinosaurs.
On dinosaurs.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. Pass.
All right, so Trevor, give us kind of like a rundown on your thoughts leading that, because I know going in you thought that Izzy might be in the same boat, that she didn't believe that. Are you still convinced that she is a Poe and faking this, or are you on the fence now?
No, 100%. Still faking, just really, really good at it. Mm-hmm. Joe just needs to know how to troll a little bit better. I've been doing this a long time. I have busted numerous people that are just doing it, quote unquote, for the lulz. I'm still occasionally a ghost in all of the chans. I see all of the talk. I've seen all of that bullshit. So the main thing is, yes, it is a really, really great idea to go against the status quo, to make yourself a little bit more, get a little bit more notoriety and get people to notice you, especially in this day and age of social media. A great example of that is B.O.B., the rapper with the whole flat Earth thing. If it's like, think of a standard status quo deal and just put the opposite of it, and then immediately you'll have people like, yeah, that would be really funny to do. And then you're
straw manning.
No, I'm not straw manning, because
you are. You're straw manning.
not at all, because there's nothing to debate this. It's absolutely true.
You're straw manning what I am.
No, I'm not. I'm
saying I'm doing it for the attention.
You are doing it for the attention. You have a brand new YouTube channel that you don't have a whole lot of followers, and this is the greatest way to get notoriety and start monetizing. Dude, you are literally claiming I am doing what you're doing.
You're straw manning me, though.
No, I'm not, because there's numerous examples.
Yeah, you are,
Joe, first of all, you straw man an argument, okay?
You don't straw man. No, I'm not straw manning you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm basically confronting you and calling you straight out.
I'm calling you straight out.
For what? Dude, come on. Really? You're going to be, I know you are, but what am I? Come on.
You can't possibly believe that brontosauruses could drink water from the pond without passing out every time.
Actually, yeah, I can, because A, they're not mammals. B, they have a lower metabolism. C, if giraffes can do it, guess what? Other long-necked things can too, including ostrich, which, wait, what are ostrich again? Dinosaurs.
Well,
are they?
No, they're ostriches, actually.
You have a brilliant. Ask Dr. Mays this. Dr. Mays can probably.
I'll debate him too.
Wait,
no, but you're not debating.
You're
throwing shit against.
No offense, Joe. You're not really on a level debate anybody at the moment.
Dr. Mays, can you answer that question? How would a brontosaurus be able to drink water without the blood rushing to his head and making him pass out?
Well, giraffes have an adaptation for that, and one difference between most sauropods and giraffes is sauropods hold their neck out straight. They don't. It's not like in the cartoon dinosaurs where they hold their neck straight up. So it's not like they have to reach their neck down all the way to the ground like that. They're like this, and they just go like that.
Yeah, that's actually
the angle.
That's what I was. That's what I was showing.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about. The tail go out in a straight line. They don't go out where the tail drags the ground and the neck goes straight up. So it's not like they have to go down from a very high height. Their head is already fairly, relatively speaking, close to the ground relative to the rest, because their head is straight out like that. It's not, the anatomy is not like the cartoon version of a sauropod like you're depicting it to be.
He got all of his way the dinosaurs look from Land Before Time.
Jurassic Park, probably. It's not like that. Do you understand now, Joe?
I'm looking up the fossils in the museum.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, heads
Joe,
don't go straight up.
Joe, are you on the video that you can see me when I'm talking?
Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't hold their heads like this. You know, in the old depictions of brontosaurs where they hold their heads like this?
Yeah, I'm looking at fossils.
Yeah, so paleontologists, I will first to admit it here, we were wrong on how we depicted some of the animals standing. Upon further review, after we have found more specimens, i.e., we have found more things to then adjust how we view these animals. Instead of sitting like this, they were built like a T. So their head and their tail were acting as counterbalances to each other over the four legs.
So how do T-Rexes drink water?
The same thing. They are also balanced on a T. That
is not the same weight, though. Like their tail is much lighter than
So
their
what?
No.
Because it's not the same weight, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work the same way.
But actually, here, Joe, I can totally blow you away on this too. Do you realize that giraffes don't actually need to drink that much water in the Sahara or everywhere in Africa they live? You know why? They're getting a majority of their water from the vegetation. Yeah, from the vegetation they eat. Guess what Tyrannosauruses were? Herbivores, motherfucker.
Unless you're Ken Hovind, then he thinks they're no.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Don't even get me started with that.
He thinks that everything was an herbivore. Actually,
Yeah, they think everything was an herbivore.
Yeah.
The T-Rexes ate meat though.
Yeah, and they can also drink water because they're not built up like this with their little arms going, "Arr!" No, they're actually more of a linear shape. Their head is balanced by their tail.
But their front body is much more heavier than their
No,
tail.
it's not.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Not
It's
at
got
all.
organs.
Have you ever? No. What are you talking about? The organs are actually directly underneath the hind legs.
That's their drinking water.
Joe, who are you to say no to like you have 3 experts in here, like leading people in the field right here in this room with you.
There's a biologist right down there,
and you're
a
talking,
good one
you're
too.
saying, no, you can't. Like but what?
Appeal to authority.
It's not.
It's not an appeal to authority when they actually
Hold on.
Oh, whoa! Compared to this, I'm absolutely an authority because I've found more Tyrannosaurs than you ever will.
And let me make this point, by the way, Joe. There is such thing as a legitimate appeal to authority, and a legitimate appeal to authority is somebody who's an expert in the field that has evaluated the topic. And so you say such and such has evaluated this. This is their opinion. That is perfectly fine. That's not a fallacy. That's called a legitimate
Here's
appeal
why,
to authority.
Joe, if you needed heart surgery and you had a cardiologist in front of you and me, and I said, don't do it the way he's wanting to do it. I know a better way of doing surgery on your heart. Which one would you go to?
I'm picking Kyle.
Kyle knows a lot about he knows about breaking hearts.
All right.
It's the same thing.
I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
I'll answer your question.
Okay.
Do I need to know all the mathematics to gravity in order to understand that things fall when I drop them?
It's a good
No.
Well, that's a horrible analogy.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, if you want to put something in orbit, right? You have to study. It's called orbital mechanics, which is a lot of math. Mathematics is ridiculously complicated math.
The point is,
tell me that if I wanted to come, wait,
you can't look at an expert and go,
It's not that complicated, though.
no, that's not how it is.
Orbital mechanics.
Really, orbital?
I've taken a few years of math, and I got to tell you that even I look at that shit.
Forrest
My eyes
Gump
glaze
can
over.
launch things into space, guys.
Yeah, I look at. I mean, beyond anything beyond
No, you need to go.
Lagrangian transformations, I look at that shit and I go, "Holy crap! There ain't no goddamn way I'm ever going to even be able to remotely understand
Dude,
this stuff."
I
wanted
to be an astronaut, and I damaged my knee so they wouldn't let me fly. Don't even tell me that, oh yeah, I know orbital mechanics. Please, dude.
Yeah.
I went to space camp 4 times. I was going for my own private pilot's license.
There's no such thing.
Plus, I had college-level manuals I was reading when I was 12 to even try and get an idea of what orbital mechanics were.
Can I show what Joe is probably?
Oh my God!
Can I show what Joe is probably a Poe real quick?
Yeah.
Joe, since you know a little bit about mechanics, can you tell me the difference between a vector and a scalar?
No.
Okay.
A vector?
You
I know
are
what a
not
vector-
an expert
Thank
in
you.
orbital mechanics.
But it could be
You're
simply
not. Wait,
defined.
Joe. No offense. You're not even at an entry level. You're not even at like grade school level if you don't know the difference between a vector and a scalar. No offense.
But it doesn't take a lot to understand it. You just
No, you
look it up.
Actually, it does.
You gotta
I'm
stick.
looking it up right now.
Yeah, the virus things. You are
John.
forever known as the guy that does not believe in viruses. Stick to that shtick and
shtick.
run.
It's a good shtick. Yeah, Dr. Mays.
And you know,
Dr. Mays. Dr. Mays actually. Joe's had some comments for Dr. Mays in the last show. Dr. Mays,
I was just going to say real quick that I've heard this before. That I understand gravity because I drop a pen and I know that it falls. That's an observation.
Right.
That's not gravity. That's knowing that you drop a pen is not the theory of gravity. That's people have been dropping things for as long as there's been people. But there's only been a theory of gravity, a good working one, for about 100 years or so.
General theory of relativity.
So just dropping a pen doesn't mean you know what gravity is.
Well, to use that analogy, you would know there were dinosaurs if you had dug one up.
I mean,
dropping a pen does not give you the knowledge of of all of the workings of gravitational wells. That's
Dr. Mays makes a brilliant point. Look, if you haven't looked into what's called general theory of relativity, you don't understand space-time. You don't understand the type of math that goes into that.
You know what general relativity is?
Wait. That means you don't understand what gravity is. All you're making is an observation. If I drop something, then the observation it falls. Now explain why that falls. Give us.
I mean, Newton was pretty darn smart. Newton invented calculus.
Leibniz, sorry.
Basically, he invented calculus to describe how gravity works.
Well,
but he still didn't know what gravity was. He didn't. Not even Newton at the time knew what gravity was. Right. It wasn't until Einstein that we had a description of what it actually is. He only described it. And I don't know if you've read the Principia lately, but I don't think you could probably get through that either. And that's just a description of gravity. That's not explaining what gravity is. So just dropping something doesn't mean you understand gravity.
Yeah, why do people go to school for so long if nothing is that hard? I mean, and I got to tell you, Joe, I'm nowhere near the level of any of these people in here. These people blow my mind with the amount of information and the study.
It doesn't mean you're right.
But hang on. But I have one thing that they don't have. I graduated from nuclear power school, so my training was in nuclear operations, and I've had Eric Debye say that nuclear power is not a thing, right? And I worked with this. I've done it. I trained people to operate nuclear power plants. I studied 2 types of reactor cores. I graduated. I had a review board by nuclear engineers that demonstrated proficiency. I studied my ass off for it. And so I do understand to a small degree when you're saying to something like Trevor, oh, you know what? You're just full of shit. You never had to learn anything. It's all easy stuff. You didn't accomplish anything. I know more than you. And your entire thing is a lie, because what you're saying is like the same thing. Like everything I've done is a lie, and it is disconcerting. I can see why Trevor can get pissed by that.
Trevor.
Wonton, do you believe in dinosaurs? Let me just get this out of the way. Do you believe dinosaurs exist, Wotan?
I just believe that there's some of them that are like not biologically possible to live on Earth, but I don't think that they're all fake.
Okay, what makes it biologically impossible, Wotan?
Wonton, man.
Well, you said that you were wrong about the anatomy and how the Brontosaurus stood up and how the T-Rex stood up.
No, they're depicted differently in movies.
This is the Flintstones.
Wotan, I have a question for you. If you don't think that some of them can biologically exist on Earth, why do we have fossils of them?
Right, you put together the fossils, right?
From what? Like 5 different dinosaurs?
From what?
What?
From rocks?
There's
a very big difference between a fossil and a rock.
There's no complete fossils ever found, right?
That's not true. Of course, there's
not true.
Fossils.
What did I say? This
what would you call Archaeopteryx?
No complete skeletons of a dinosaur.
I don't know what they call Archaeopteryx. I brought that up in the show, and nobody answered me. But,
which the Chinese faked.
No, is this a complete fossil?
There's actually a huge.
Hey, Wotan. Archaeopteryx. There you go.
Wotan,
right there.
Is this a complete fossil? Is it a complete fossil?
That's a Burbank Archaeopteryx, right?
Yes.
It's a copy.
Yeah, copy. Yeah, but I mean, what is not complete about that?
Tucson Gem and Mineral Show.
Yeah, what's not complete?
But it was. Yeah, what's not complete? What's missing?
That was faked by the Chinese, wasn't it?
No.
You're thinking about
wait, whoa, the paleontologist in the room. Hey, Wotan, so that was supposedly fake by the Chinese. Did they fake it by the Chinese and then impregnate it or implant it into a mountain in Lagerstätten, Germany? Is that how it happened?
Were you there for that when you seen that?
Were you there when they landed on the moon? No, you're not. You're too fucking young.
He doesn't believe in the moon landing.
He doesn't believe in the moon landing.
Oh, I know that, but here's the thing: if he doesn't believe in the moon landing, guess what? No. He wasn't there anyway, so he can't question it if he's trying to use that type of argument against me.
All right. Were you there when I was born?
Therefore you weren't born.
Exactly.
Argument. Hey, that's an argument from not there. That is a logical fallacy.
Mm-hmm. They're not there. Yeah. They're not there. Absolutely. Fallacy.
Yeah. So no, but I've seen, measured, and studied the original. So thank you very much, which you never have.
I can't believe you two, Wonton. Not you two. This problem stems deeper than we thought, guys. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh no, it absolutely does. And so I mean, Wotan here is absolutely one of Dubé's faithful. By the way, Wotan, I'd like to let you know that Eric Dubé left the United States under suspicious circumstances, possibly due to fleeing some sort of charges. His family are all Freemasons, and he's basically doing everything to make money for himself to live in Thailand.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
So he is the first and foremost fraud when it comes to your flat Earth, no dinosaurs, that kind of bullshit.
And by the way, I will issue a challenge. If Eric wants to come on and talk about nuclear power, that's one debate I'll do.
But he's not arguing against nuclear power.
Oh, yes, he is. Oh, bullshit.
I
have challenged him. Joe, I have sat there and challenged him in the live chat. Joe,
how can you literally be wrong about
him before to come discuss it with me about nuclear power? The bullshit. He thinks that nuclear reactors do not exist. He also thinks that nuclear weapons do not exist. I've listened to it from his own mouth as I've tried to engage with him.
I've listened to his own videos, including the one that he took, 3 minutes about me, that he was saying I was part of the large Jewish conspiracy. So don't give me that shit, dude. He absolutely does not believe nuclear power exists.
I think he's full of bullshit all across the board.
Absolutely.
He doesn't buy any of this shit. He knows 100%. Yeah.
Well, other than not hot rocks, there are hot rocks, right? Hot rocks that make steam.
What?
How could you argue against that?
What the fuck are you talking about?
What? Hot rocks.
What the hell?
Are you? What the fuck?
Dude, I'm a little buzzed, but I ain't that drunk yet. What the hell are you talking about with hot rocks?
Are you saying hot rocks, Joe?
Are you talking about coal? Are you talking about coal power plants?
Nuclear power. What do you think?
Nuclear power is not hot rocks.
What?
It's an analogy. I was on a submarine too.
I was not on a submarine. First of all, I was on a surface craft, D2G, but I did study S1C, which was a submarine corps.
Why was he on a submarine though? Why were you on a submarine, Joe?
I worked on USS Chicago.
Okay.
Isn't that a diesel?
No,
I don't think that's a nuclear.
Well, they have a diesel in them, but they're nuclear power submarines.
Bill,
hot rock make boat go.
But let me ask Bill a question real quick. Bill, why do you think this is a problem? Why? Because I'll tell you, number one, before January, I didn't know there were people who believed that the Earth was flat. I really didn't. Steve will confirm that. He told me about it, and I was completely shocked. But I was even more shocked a month ago when I found out that there were people that didn't think dinosaurs were a thing, or that questioned some of the different things about dinosaurs. Why do you think that's becoming prevalent now?
I think it's two of the same type of thing. I think you've got people that just want to challenge other people. I don't think that they really believe that there are no dinosaurs. I don't think a lot of the people that are into the whole flat Earth thing really believe the Earth is flat. I think they just have a lot of fun trying to challenge scientists and trying to come up with these arguments against it and see ways that they can twist what people say or look at evidence and say, okay, well, you weren't there, or it's fake, it's not real pictures, it's not real fossils, the same kind of thing.
That makes sense. Wotan.
I think they do it for fun. Yeah. I think some of them do it for fun. I think some of them do it to antagonize other people. It's a hobby for them. They're trolls, they're pose.
Absolutely.
And Joe,
but let me ask this, Wotan. You've been on our show several times, and eventually in the conversations that you have with us or the people that we bring on to talk to you, it gets down to a point where it stems from, or your mistrust in the shape of the Earth stems from the lie of, or what you call the lie of evolution. You have a biologist here who debates on evolution all the time.
I debate him.
Yeah. Okay. What can he clear up for you about evolution that you don't quite believe?
I just have to interject. What the fuck does evolution have to deal with it?
I've never said that my belief in flat Earth has anything to do with my disbelief in evolution. I just said that was my disbelief in evolution was the beginning of me trusting everything that.
Yeah.
Okay. You mean that was the beginning of your rabbit hole jump into conspiracy?
Yeah, because they lied.
Right.
Now everything.
One conspiracy leads to another conspiracy. And by the way, Joe, you're right. The USS Chicago, I looked it up, even though it was from like the 80s. It was it's an S6G type core, which means submarine 6th generation General Electric.
But Wotan, what
an LA class submarine?
I don't know. Dude, I didn't do sub. I know the cores. I know what
Joe's nodding. Yeah, it's a Los Angeles.
Is it a Los Angeles class? Yeah.
I'm like, they're the only ones that had one S6G on them.
Yeah, it was a single unit. See, we had two. We had two D2Gs, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
Wotan, what's the thing that you think is a lie about it? Because I've always been interested, and I feel like now you have somebody that can actually address the part that you think they're lying about.
Prove how a land-walking, cold-blooded reptile with scales and claws can change into a bird, flying, feather-wearing, warm-blooded animal.
Weren't they mesothermic?
No.
Yeah, they're
Archaeopteryx, please.
Yeah, I thought they were mesothermic. Where did you get their cold-blooded? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
reptiles are not cold-blooded.
No.
Well, here's the thing.
Dinosaurs.
All dinosaurs weren't reptiles. And also
exactly.
Wotan,
Right, you said that birds are
birds are dinosaurs. Yes,
they come from reptiles.
Aves is a subclass of
So
dinosaurs.
they're reptiles,
but not all dinosaurs are birds.
But they're not reptiles. So reptiles and birds are closely related. But birds, modern birds, are part of. Okay, that's real easy. Look at their morphology. Done. You're welcome.
Comparative morphology, genetics.
Wrong. What's your biology degree in, motherfucker? I've got 2 masters. What do you got? Nothing.
I'm curious. Wait, Wotan,
here's the thing.
No evidence, eh?
Well, Wotan,
I'm getting to the evidence.
Keep going on and on and on and on.
Let's
getting nowhere. He's just
get back on
yelling.
track. Wotan.
No, I'm absolutely going to keep yelling at you, Wotan.
We have 2 biologists. Ask them, what would it take for you to be convinced, and not just proof. We're not talking about proof, but there's all these different studies out there, all these different books. What would it take? What would you like to see to make it confirmed in your mind that what they're saying is true?
He could ask the same question.
I'm not asking Joe. I'm asking Wotan. 1 second.
You said we're not talking about proof. If we're not talking about proof, then I guess I'll just hang up. If we're not going to talk
we're not
about
talking about proof. Science doesn't prove anything.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about evidence. We're talking about what would convince you.
Semantics. You're getting lost in semantics. Just ask the question.
So science doesn't prove anything, so then you can't prove evolution with science.
I don't disagree with that, so.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
Okay, but what evidence? What would it take to convince you?
Something.
Science studies evolution.
Hold on.
Let's just say
you see how evasive you are?
Hold on. Let Dr. Mays.
It's not evasive, it's just...
Guys, chill out.
No, let Dr. Mays go. Let Dr. Mays go.
Answer this.
If you must use the word proof, use it like this. It's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not proof in an absolute sense or a sense like you have in mathematics. It's not a mathematical proof. It's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So what evidence is there that would prove beyond a reasonable doubt that evolution were our best explanation for diversity?
Reasonable doubt and best, quote-unquote, best explanation. That doesn't mean that it's absolutely true.
He didn't say that.
There is. That's not the point. There is no absolute.
This language. You're using this, evasive kind of language because you know for damn well sure there's no absolute 100% concrete proof.
I have a question.
So you have to say beyond a reasonable doubt.
I have a question.
Best explanation, but there's no solid 100% proof.
Well, Tom, I have a question. I have a very important question.
I have proof.
What do you know of that is 100% absolutely true? What?
Besides how good looking.
For beyond a shadow of a doubt. Nothing.
The square root of 2 is irrational. I know that for 100% mathematical fact.
Besides a mathematical proof.
Right. Besides something like mathematics, how can you know anything for absolutely true? That's not something that we try to prove.
Right.
What's your answer?
And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to even try to come to that, to even institute that level of evidence that you want from us shows just how unwilling you are to actually look at the evidence.
Hang on, Joe. Trevor wants to go next. He's got a hand up because he's a cool little schoolboy. Trevor, go ahead, and then I do want to hear Wonton's answer to this. I want to know what he knows 100% certainty, epistemic certainty, that he cannot be wrong, like Cartesian certainty. I want to know that, but go ahead.
I also have something to say.
I just want to interject and say there is actual mathematical proof of evolution. It's called it's Price's theorem or the Price equation. You're welcome.
Okay, John, what's your answer to that? What do you know 100% fact aside from mathematics?
The closest thing that I would absolutely believe in for, as close to 100% certainty is the fact that I exist and I am in control.
No.
Are you sure?
Not close.
Nope.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what...
I'm not asking for close. I'm asking for 100% certainty, the exact thing you are asking from us.
Are you sure?
I exist.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, are you sure you exist? Because...
yeah, pretty sure
okay.
I am.
Oh, pretty sure.
Okay, you're pretty sure.
Pretty sure is not 100%.
Pretty sure is not certainty.
Well, obviously I'm being a little sarcastic,
Okay, then don't be sarcastic.
That's perfectly
I want to
fine.
know what you need. I can tell you right now, I am certain. I can spend hours and tell you why I'm certain that I exist. But why do you exist?
Why? That's a different question. Why do I exist?
Why do you believe that you exist? First of all,
philosophical question.
Of course it's philosophical. It's existential.
Why?
Do you have 100% certainty that you exist? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Ow.
Why should we believe that you exist?
Because I'm here. I'm looking at myself right now. I can think things in my brain.
We can't see you.
Dude, you could be a pea zombie.
I can't see you. I see you.
Can't see you.
Yeah, you could wait. It's Rotan. You could be a pea zombie. You could be an automatron. We have no idea. You could be. You know.
are asking me. You're asking.
Well,
me.
yeah. How do you know this? Give us your justification.
And then you're saying, "Oh well, how come I don't believe?" Well, that's you. If you don't have to believe me, I don't
Okay.
care.
Well, even still, you haven't made an argument why you know you exist.
Well,
No, but
Steve,
you
let's
changed the
grant
question
him that.
around.
Let's grant
You
him
changed the
that
question around, and then you're trying to damn me for.
Well, hold on. Let's see if we can fix this. Steve, let's grant him that he exists. So aside from yourself, are you saying you're the only thing that you know for a certain fact is true?
That is the closest thing to 100% certainty that I know.
Okay, so you buy other stuff, right? There are other things that you believe and that you would consider true, correct?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how is that any different from what the thing with evolution is? If by them saying, beyond a reasonable doubt that this is most likely the way that it was, but they can't be absolutely certain. If you're just missing that little piece, that little absolute certain, and the only thing you can be certain of is that you exist. Now, what's your reason for not taking evolution?
The reptiles into birds, the land-walking mammals into whales. It's just I think it's absurd. That's all. I just don't believe it.
What's absurd about it?
What's absurd about it?
There are absurd things that happen.
Well,
so far,
show that a reptile can. How do you know that these things ever happen? You have no idea that these things happen.
Because they happen every day.
Every day. Okay,
No, they
show
don't. No,
How
they
did we
don't.
get here,
Show
Wotan?
me.
How did it happen every
They
day?
do.
Oh, you said it happens
Every
day. No,
birth
I'm gonna hold
is
it.
every birth is evolution in action.
No, it's not.
How did
Absolutely
we
it is.
Absolutely, you're
Hey,
changing the
Joe.
frequency, don't you?
Yeah, Joe, are you a clone of your mother or your father?
That means nothing. The clone argument.
No.
Yes, it does. It means a heck of a lot.
No. Answer the question. Are you a clone of your mother or your father?
We're both humans. We're both humans.
Doesn't matter. Answer the question.
That does not matter one bit.
Are you a clone of your mother or your father?
I'm a variety of human.
Okay, you're a variety
Which
of human.
means
That
evolution has taken place.
That
No,
means
it doesn't.
you have genes.
Yes, it does.
Dr. Mays,
doesn't.
this is where we go to an expert.
Yes,
Dr.
it does.
Mays. Dr. Mays.
Yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Mays.
Mays.
Hang on.
Right
Dr.
down
Mays.
there.
If you,
Dr. Mays, right down there.
Is it correct to assume that if there's been a change of allele frequency in any population, that evolution has occurred within the population?
Within
Yes.
a specific population.
No,
yeah.
not even-
we're talking about within a specific population.
It's not even that it's safe to assume.
It's a fact. That's what it's by definition, right?
That's
Not natural.
evolution by
That's evolution
definition.
by definition, right?
The
But
bigger
not
question.
macroevolution. It's not macro.
Well, right.
Joe, you're just so moving the goalpost on the
Steve,
bars right
Steve,
now.
I'm not.
Steve,
I know
real
it's
quick,
right.
guys, technical issue. Steve, in the settings, click
Yep.
my name and click make me co-host
Sure.
so that I can be watching and
Yep.
muting
You got it.
cases. I don't want to mute anybody. I don't want to treat anybody like 5 years. But people out there can't understand when people are jumping in. So, Joe, let him finish his answer and then you can respond. And just don't talk over him.
Yep, there you go.
So the bigger question, everyone said, if you have a change in allele frequency from one generation to the next, that's evolution by definition. So if you believe in that, then you believe in evolution. It's just a fact.
Amen.
That's it. The bigger problem that people have is with common ancestry. So this idea that birds and crocodiles, lizards, I can't stand this term reptiles. So I could explain why reptiles isn't a good term, but birds, crocodiles, lizards, etc., share a common ancestry is a model that we have. So we can posit a model that says life shares a certain group, not even all life, a certain group, say all vertebrates, share a common ancestry. The alternative model is they don't share a common ancestry and there's separate lineages of vertebrates. So there's a separate bird lineage that never shared any genes with anybody else. There's a separate crocodile lineage that never shared any genes with anybody else. Those two models make different predictions. And so then we go and look at the data and we see what the data look like. And we see if the data match the predictions of one model versus another model. The data over and over again across different independent lines of inquiry match the common ancestry model. So that's how we know that birds came from non-birds. And vertebrates share a common ancestry because that model makes predictions of the data that we can test. And we do that over and over again in different lines of data in different ways. And again and again and again, it comes to the same answer that life shares a common ancestry. So that's how it works. Now, that's the same way. Let me finish. That's the same way we know the sun's at the center of the solar system. at the center of our system is not a sort of, there's no camera that's been launched out into space that looks back on the solar system and takes a movie. We have a model, and people for a long time have looked up into the sky and watched the movement of the planets. Planets are called planets because in Greek it means wanderer, because they're the only things in the sky that would move a while and they would go back. And the only thing that explains that is that particular heliocentric model of the solar system. So that's the same thing. Atoms are the same thing. We have a theory of atomic theory that explains that matter is constructed of atoms. That theory makes predictions. And we see that those predictions are met in the data, and that leads us to conclude that the atomic theory of matter is right. So like heliocentric system or the atomic theory of matter, evolution is a model, or common ancestry is a model that we test against the data, and the data match the predictions of the model, and that's how we know that it's true.
And Joe, let me ask you real quick, Joe, to expand about that. If I said, look, I'm discovered a new particle, right? Yeah, you got to get the looky counter. If I said I discovered a new particle, and I have what's called 6 sigma, which is 99.99966%. That's pretty high confidence, 99.99966%. Would you say at that point that I don't have reason to believe that I've discovered that new particle?
Oh, but no. But I'm saying that evolution evidence that
evolution is greater. No. Evolution is greater than that percentage of the certainty.
It's ambiguous.
No, it is not. It is greater than 6 sigma. It only takes 6 sigma to discover a particle, which, by the way, is really, really high.
You even know what ambiguous means, Joe?
But you don't understand is that there is the evidence for evolution is so overwhelming that is literally
that is not what ambiguous.
That's not what ambiguous means.
That's not what ambiguous.
It could be this or that.
No, that's not what ambiguous means.
All right, read it off to me if you want.
Stop using big words, Joe.
It's like
monosyllabic words only. If you're not familiar with polysyllabic words, okay.
It's ambiguous.
That's like Vecco keeps on saying arbitrary. Everything's arbitrary.
Like, my model fits the predictions just as well as evolutionary.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Really?
Not at all.
Interesting.
One example. What is your prediction? And I'll write what.
Okay.
That's
okay, John. I'll give you a chance at this. So, if you look at a bunch of organisms and you look at the diversity of amino acids in a certain protein across a bunch of different species. Now, what are the predictions of a model of independent ancestry versus common ancestry for how diverse those amino acid sequences will be when, this is key, when those amino acid sequences don't vary in accordance with function. So all the variance is neutral. It doesn't matter. So what's the pattern you would predict for common ancestry versus independent ancestry for amino acid sequences comparisons, and how do the data match each one, and what's the p-value or the expected p-value you would expect with that?
Okay, I predict that reptiles would make proteins, for example, ABC, and then perhaps mammals would make proteins CBA.
Do you know what a protein is, Joe?
Yes.
What a protein?
They're made up of amino acids,
okay.
but the configurations could vary beyond different clades. So reptiles could make proteins this way, and mammals can make proteins this way.
So why is there a conservation between them, like cytochrome C? Why is there a conservation so highly conserved?
Excuse me, Joe. Would you like some dressing with that word salad?
I'm trying.
It's pretty simple.
Like I said, I'm nowhere near the.
Pretty simple. It's pretty simple, Trevor.
I'm just trying to break it down for the layperson here because I'm a layperson, but I'm confused on this, Joe. What the fuck are you talking about?
He said that across species, different clades produce amino acids or proteins a certain way.
Okay.
And that is only explainable through clades.
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 I don't think you're real, Joe.
I don't know how you got that from what he just said. I've tried to jumble up his words in my head, and I can't make that happen.
Do you just have like a set of things that you fall back to once someone tries to? Because that's what it sounds like.
Because I've heard the arguments before, but now I want to.
Yeah, no, I don't think you have, because he presented something that you did not respond to.
Well, I mean, maybe I don't understand it. So
clearly.
I want to have a separate debate with Mr. Myers altogether.
I'm curious. Why do you think you're at a level to debate somebody like Dr.
You don't want to do that, Joe.
I'm curious. No, I'm not
that hard.
I'm not. Okay, first of all,
because it's not that hard. No, you know
They just
why?
hand out PhD to everybody. Here, a PhD
Because
for you.
you want more notoriety and you want more clicks, because then you can turn this onto your own channel.
Listen,
Come on, dude.
This man is
Jesus
debating
Christ.
a biologist from Harvard University next month, a guy that works at Answers in Genesis named Dr. Nathaniel Jensen, a guy that that should be debating Dr. Mays. You're arbitrarily throwing out nuh-uhs and I know you're wrong because of blah, and you're not giving any reasons there. None of your reasons are remotely coherent. None.
You're basically a YouTube comic section come to life.
Right.
He said that neutral mutations is evidence for common ancestry, right? And it's how they.
No, I don't
that's
think
not
what
what
he
I
said
said
either. But what is it?
You're not paying attention.
That's not what he said.
Then I misunderstood.
We think so too.
Clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't want to take up too much time, but I'm pretty curious now.
I bet you don't.
The floor is yours, dude. Do it.
Dr. Mays, what did you mean by that?
Yeah, what did you mean by that? Because
So if you look at the same protein in a bunch of different organisms, and those proteins will vary. So there's diversity in the amino acid sequences in each of those proteins.
Which is what
we're looking at is the pattern of diversity among those different species. Now that pattern can either follow a pattern that you would expect based on common ancestry, or a pattern that you would expect based on independent origins. Okay?
I don't see how
that diversity, this is the important part, that diversity is neutral, meaning that the variations don't mean anything.
You're breaking up a little bit, Dr. Mays.
Actually, variation codons, the underlying DNA sequences that encode those amino acids. It's neutral. It's not changing the protein.
Dr. Mays, suppose you're breaking up, by the way. But suppose you have these mutual mutations that do an amino acid substitution, but it doesn't change the functionality of the protein because it's a similar amino acid of some way. So it folds the same, has the same function. It does whatever it's supposed to do for apoptosis or whatever. Can you not trace that phylogenetically under proteomics back through lines of speciation and see where these substitutions have occurred and trace it back? If there wasn't a common ancestry, wouldn't we expect there to be kind of more of a random type of amino acid substitution?
Yes. You would expect a pattern. If there's no common ancestry, that means that any neutral mutations in one lineage, which never shared any genes with any other lineage, those would have occurred independently through mutation from any other. A change in one lineage in an underlying codon, a DNA sequence, say, for a protein coding gene, wouldn't magically just happen in the other lineage. Mm-hmm. They're independent of one another if there's no shared common ancestry.
Well, if they're all reptiles.
If there's shared common ancestry, then you can have these mutations happen in a common ancestor. So a single mutation occurred in the past that those two lineages that split now share. Now, if those two lineages are independent of one another, that means that same mutation occurred independently in those two things. And that is very improbable when you start to sum this data over thousands and thousands of bases.
Okay, so common ancestry is, in the alternate model, a thing, but the extent of common ancestry isn't like everything. Like, it's not everything has one common ancestor. So maybe all cats and felines have a common ancestor, maybe they don't. But this neutral mutation that you're talking about, is it between about that all fish will share this neutral mutation?
No, you're not.
What?
I don't think you get it.
I don't think you get
Not
it.
necessarily. I mean, there could be some that are shared we call these syn apomorphies, which are traits that are shared across everybody in a certain group that are derived. Now you can look at some changes and they would be shared within a certain group, but they wouldn't be shared with it anyway. That's not what I'm talking about. So I'll tell you what I did. I put a link in the chat. You can go to that link. There's a paper, and you can look at the paper. You can download the PDF, and I'm going to tell you what figure to look at, and I want you to explain that figure to me.
Yeah.
And tell me which model is supported. And
All right.
that's figure 2 in that paper.
Do that now, or do you want me to do that on our debate?
You're not having a debate.
You can forget about that. It's a gigantic waste of time for me to do that. I gave you a link in the chat. Go to there, look at figure 2, explain it to me.
Because I already explained. All right, I'll do it right now in the chat. But I already explained why it would work on independent lineages as well, because common ancestry is still a thing. It's just the extent of common ancestry is not all to the same microbe.
We've had this exact debate on NonSequitur before. It did not go well.
Wow. No, I'm actually reading the paper right now. 17 coding genes comprising a total of 3,657 aligned codons. Holy fuck, that is a massive... Jesus Christ. Yeah, Joe, good luck with figure 2, buddy. Wow.
Yeah, figure 2 is something else.
Wow.
This is where I have a little bit of a problem, because there's a lot of people just point to a phylogenetic tree and say that tree is sort of somehow a demonstration of evolution, and it doesn't work that way. The paper I'm pointing out is an explicit test of common ancestry. You know, most phylogenetic trees are generated, any single gene that you build a tree out of is just a gene tree for that gene. It doesn't really prove common ancestry by itself.
Can you show an example though, please?
I did. I gave you a whole paper.
No,
gave you a whole paper.
Of like a cat and a dog having same.
No, that is not at all what evolution says.
Well, they
No. Fuck off with your crocodile.
But we already know that they do have an ancestor.
No. We're going to break in real quick. Jar Jar Blue says, great minds think alike, but this hangout is evidence that stupid minds don't think at all.
Yeah. There is evidence of cats and dogs' ancestry is about 55 million years ago, by the way. But
do they share a neutral mutation?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Of course.
When we build phylogenetic trees, one way that we do it is it's very important to build them off of neutral mutation. A lot of the models of evolution that we use depend on us measuring neutral variation to do this. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but we have all kinds of trees based not only just on a few genes, but on whole genomes for mammals that clearly point to this idea that mammals share a common ancestry. And that's over and over again. And that data is congruent with what we know from the fossil record. So it's not just one line of data, it's multiple lines of data over and over again that all corroborate and tell the same story. That's what you want to see in science.
All that data could also support the alternate model as well.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And if you go to the figure that I showed you, there are two distributions of data. One distribution of data is for independent ancestry. One distribution is for common ancestry. They are way far apart from one another. When you have two distributions that don't overlap and they're way far apart, literally hundreds of standard deviations away from each other, that means that those two models aren't the same thing. So you can only explain the data from the common ancestry model.
And these expected entropy values were calculating using Price's theorem. I can already see on that.
So Price's theorem has to do with selection and stuff. This has nothing to do with that.
Where do I find this?
They didn't use Price's on this because.
Where do you find this? He linked it.
I don't know where it's linked at.
Is this the statistical evidence of common ancestry testing and Noah's silent sites? Okay.
Joe, there is somebody that
I can get you guys this paper. I have it right here.
I think you and G-Man would be a really good debate. What do you think?
I know this could be argued, but I want to understand more about it before I do it, because everything else I've
Joe. I actually like Joe. He's way off the mark and on Mars, but Joe's personable.
I have a question for Joe.
I got an answer.
No, you don't.
I don't know about that.
I know about that.
So, Joe, it seems like you are one of the outliers in your group, because Izzy was pretty, well, she seemed to say that she believed in evolution. I'm not entirely certain about that, because she said that when they found the Mary Schweitzer's bone, that it was just a really old ostrich. How does not believing in evolution have anything to do with whether or not dinosaurs existed?
It's part of something propaganda, I can tell.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, sure. Propaganda. There you go again.
What is propagandist about evidence and reporting accurately the finds and scientific research that goes into these finds?
Well, like I said, it's very one-sided, because it could go...
It's not one-sided.
Okay, DNA.
Science is all about trying to falsify the conclusions that are being...
But what is pseudoscience about?
crazy.
Ask yourself that.
Crazy people.
How do you know it's not pseudoscience? How do you know it's not pseudoscience?
Because it's consistently gone through the peer review process and gotten to the point where it cannot be falsified at this current point of time with our current evidence. With our current evidence, it is the best model that explains the phenomenon that we see, and the reason that we know that is because we try to prove it wrong. And
So
when
is
we try to prove it wrong, it fails.
So is chromosome 2 fusion evidence for or against evolution?
What do you mean?
Chromosome 2 fusion, do you know what that is?
Oh no.
Yes, I know what chromosome 2
Wait. Joe, you don't want to go here, man. You really don't. I know you're trying to make a name for yourself.
All right, wisdom teeth.
Seriously, dude. I mean, come on, don't do this. Because you're about to embarrass the living fuck out of yourself.
I don't have that
Especially
emotion.
with like 4 of us in here.
I believe
Maybe
that.
you should develop
That might be true.
He doesn't have any. He doesn't have that emotion. I believe that.
Yeah, there are some people that just don't care about being embarrassed.
All right, so is
Call it no
chromosome 2
shame.
fusion?
Yeah, it's called no. Yeah, I mean, no shame. I mean, do you have no shame?
It's
Joe?
called
I'm
maybe
just
being a
curious.
sociopath, but
Are you associate? No. Well, Joe, how would you answer that?
Possible.
What am I?
possible.
Sociopathic.
Misguided.
Yeah, all of the above.
Confused.
So chromosome 2 fusion is pro or against evolution? Or is it ambiguous?
Dr. Mays.
I don't know enough about the subject to draw a conclusion either which way.
But couldn't it go
It's
both ways? I mean, I've talked to Ruf on this, and Ruf's done a lot of analysis on human chromosome 2. His position is that the evidence can go kind of different ways, but it definitely is a fusion. It definitely does exist. It's a head-to-head end-to-end chromosomal fusion. It's a ribosome translocation. It does exist. Tompkins says it's highly expressed. I asked Dr. Jeanson about the expression levels, where his data is for that. I've gotten nothing. I've gotten bump kiss. Seriously, even from Dr. Tompkins, we can't find where he says that there's a gene called the DX11L2 gene that is transcribed across the fusion site. No such thing. So the argument is, basically, if it's not a fusion, then what is it? Is it just completely something from kind of like intelligent design thing? Yeah, possible, I guess. But what's the odds of that, Dr. Mays? I mean, just ridiculous.
It's exactly what you would expect to see if humans and chimps and bonobos share a common ancestry.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And
what we see.
I might add,
Exactly.
it's not like we only rest the common ancestry of humans and chimps on human chromosome 2.
But we can only talk about one thing at a time.
Thousands of other lines of evidence outside of that.
And they're all the same type of evidence. They're all the same evidence. It's all the same ambiguous evidence.
Why is that ambiguous? What's
not
ambiguous about the head-to-head fusion? What's ambiguous? You can actually look at the nuclear.
What's ambiguous about us sharing 96%? Or is it 97? I'm not sure.
98.5, give or take. Depends on what system you use. But we can actually look at the nucleotide sequence and show that the motifs are what we would expect for an end-to-end fusion. That's what we would look. If we say, hey, what would one look like? We would expect TTA, TGG, and then the inverse. That's what we see.
Joe Bob Jenkins said this is Schadenfreude in its finest form, and I hope that I pronounced that right.
And I might add, the 2 chromosomes that are lined up in our chromosome 2, one of them matches one chimpanzee chromosome, the other matches another chimpanzee chromosome. So it's not like one of them is like just out of nowhere.
What do you mean?
Both.
There's different varieties of.
Our one chromosome matches with 2 chimpanzee
PT12 and PT13. HC2 is equivalent to them.
Absolutely.
What is this other chimpanzee? Is it another variety of chimpanzee?
It's not another variety of chimpanzee. Okay, it is one. Okay. Our one chromosome is the fusion of 2 chimpanzee chromosomes. All chimpanzees have these 2 chromosomes.
So do humans.
These 2 chromosomes. No. Ours
humans have that chromosome.
Yes, so do humans. Except for us, those 2 are stuck together.
Yeah, so what? Humans' chromosomes got fused. We could wake up tomorrow and have another chromosome fused.
Well, that happened. No, that's happened. There's actually a guy. There actually is a guy that lives. He's diploid number 2N44. He has 44 chromosomes for that very reason. There's actually a family in Finland that has them.
Wake up. I know it happens. I just hope it doesn't happen when I wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, fusions and
well,
breaks
it happens at the gamete level, doesn't it? I mean, it would have to be on the germ level, right?
For it to be passed on. I mean, you can get fusions in somatic
cells, but I mean, yeah, okay.
Joe doesn't believe in germs, though. Joe doesn't believe in germs, so
I believe in germs.
Joe,
germs are not.
No, you don't. You don't believe in viruses.
Right.
Sexual.
I think
germs.
this came up earlier. You asked, well, how do you know it's pseudoscience versus how do you know it's science? Let me give you a little hint. When it's pseudoscience, it typically is almost always only found on the internet being broadcast out of people's bedrooms. When it's science, it's in actual labs done by people with professional careers and published in places that get subjected to some scrutiny.
But don't you know how the system works?
In letters after their name. Squirlosa says, I was going to ask Joe about punctuated equilibrium, but he doesn't even understand evolution, so that would just go nowhere real fast.
Hey, Bill, you want to chime in on this, Bill? I know you're probably itching to kind of get in a little bit.
Please.
We've been ignoring Bill and
Bill,
the superstar.
And
please get in this.
You're giving Puffalufficus an aneurysm, by the way.
Do it.
You guys are doing awesome. I'm just working on the beer. So.
Yeah, I got a poor man's White Russian, but whatever.
We want to know your thoughts. And by the way, everybody says that Trevor's laugh and beard wins the night. So.
Oh yeah, no, dude.
Agreed.
You know what's I can't tell which ones are my favorite people. It's like I love all you. It's just like amazing to be in such awe of so many people in here.
I know. I instantly feel like super dumb in this room right now.
I know. I feel like a moron.
But I will say that Wotan and Joe are kind of balancing me out. So I feel.
Yeah, I can safely say you're not the dumbest person in the room. This is for sure.
True, there's a flat earther here.
I find it rather funny why you guys don't have like Michael Behe or David Balinsky.
Bring him in.
Bring him in,
dude.
Bring him in.
I am all for that.
It's your show. It's your show. You guys know how to invite them.
Dude, we know how to. Doesn't mean they're going to join.
Hold on. Let me clear that up. That because that was a direct accusation to us. We are afraid of having no one on this show. We would not be afraid of not one person.
We have tackled all kinds of shit, brother.
The biggest names, you name it, they can come on here. They have an open invitation any day of the week. They won't take it because they actually have something to lose in that field, and that would be
no. Now you're making a claim. Now you're making an accusation.
I'm just saying for them.
No. You're saying that you invited David Balinsky and Michael Behe to the show, and they declined.
That's not what he said.
That's
not what he said.
That's not what he said.
My God, do you have such a filter when you change what people say?
You were framing it that way. You were framing it that way just now.
That's not what he framed it as.
No, he was not. Wow, dude, you really need to listen, man.
I said that we are not afraid of having anyone on here.
That's exactly what he said.
We invite some of the biggest names in the field, like Eric Dubai. I've emailed him personally 6 times, and I got a thing back from him. And
I've emailed Mark Sargent and Patricia Steele and a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah, they won't do it.
Orphan Red blocked me, even though I have a video dedicated to her.
I do want to add one thing that I have noticed. I do think you guys are afraid of having some people on if you don't have alcohol.
Fair enough. I'm okay with that, brother. Yeah, no, I know, but I think Kyle's right. Look, we started the NonSequitur Show with the premise that opinions are sacred, and we'll allow people on once, twice. That's not a given, right? So we will tackle many different subjects once. And then if we decide it's not worth it, it's a shit show, then we'll just kind of bow out. But dude, if wants to call on. Yeah, go ahead, George.
I have one real quick thing. I have to go make room for more beer, i.e. urination. Because Wotan in the bottom right hand of my screen has been sitting there awfully quiet and all that, and he is here for a reason, and that's for us to rip his ass apart.
Ooh, can't we?
So Wotan. I would like you to answer the following thing, and everybody else can demand, but this is my deal. I will absolutely 100% say the earth is flat if you can give me a geotagged, time-stamped photograph of Polaris from Australia.
Well, that wouldn't mean anything.
Well, shut up! I'm not talking to you.
Joe, your time's over.
It
would clearly debunk the flat Earth or the round Earth model. That's for damn sure.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, 100%. I mean, it's like you literally have Polaris, which is, the northern pole star. But I'll even do that one better. How about a geotag timestamp photograph of Sigma Oncantis from, say, Los Angeles or?
Yeah, I'm not too far from LA, Toronto, and I can't see Sigma Oncantis from my location.
No,
so.
I can't see it either.
Neither can I.
Yeah, so that's what I want to see that's what would absolutely convince me of a flat Earth. And so I'm literally pulling the pin on that grenade and dropping it.
All right, go pee, and then when he gets back, he'll jump on that grenade and see what happens.
And I'll listen to right up. So yeah, Wotan, I want you to think about that. There's 23 million people in Australia. Surely one of them has a picture of Polaris.
And Joe, I think KT's getting ready.
7 billion people on Earth. I'm pretty sure one of them has taken a photograph of the curvature of the Earth.
That's not what he's talking about. Don't change the subject. We're not going to let you do that.
Don't change the subject.
You don't get to change things from one to another.
I saw the curvature.
Stellar observations.
I saw the curve.
Joe hasn't seen the curvature.
I saw it.
Joe hasn't seen the curvature.
I opened up my eyes. I saw the curve.
On an airplane.
Oh, wow.
No, I saw the curve on an airplane with my iPhone flat, and the horizon dropped from the airplane.
Yeah, the horizon dropped.
You know what? You better hurry up. We got Casey in here, and that's the truth hammer. She's gonna fuck your world up real quick.
Joe, Casey's here.
Hi.
Joe,
and I gotta get Nacho Witness in here, but Nacho, you gotta mess. Oh, I got you. I'll send it you on Twitter.
Joe completely, when he was leaving last time, completely thanked Casey and forgot all about that. He was just so.
He was enamored by Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell.
Where is she at?
Joe, are you enamored by Casey? Do you have like the hots for her? I mean, we don't judge. I mean, she got a boyfriend, and I don't think he's gonna care. I don't know. We're too worried about you going after her, but do you have a thing for her?
Is Casey in here?
She's
I'm back.
Do you find her attractive?
Let her in. Let her in.
Yeah. No, she has a link.
Okay.
You do, Joe? Yeah, she'll be.
Whenever she talks like this and with her little smirk like that.
Oh, that's kind of cute, actually. That's adorable.
Right? Did I miss Wotan completely?
Wotan just changed the subject.
Yeah, he's talking about his libido. So
he moved the goalpost.
Now you guys just like attack.
No, I didn't move the goalpost.
No, it's all fair. All fair.
Motherfucker!
We waited. Wotan.
Okay, that's it. Wotan, motherfucker, I'm absolutely attacking you right now. It's fucking on.
Oh, cool.
Explain to why you cannot see Polaris from Australia. Go.
Explain why you can't see the curve of the Earth ever.
So you change the subject.
No. Answer my fucking question.
Answer my fucking question.
Fucking now.
Answer my fucking question.
Be real.
Because you're too small.
It's real simple. Why can't you see the curvature of the Earth? It's because the field of view of modern camera and optics do not have the same kind of viewpoint that human eyes do. That's why you can't take a picture from an airplane with a camera and see the curvature of Earth, but you can't actually see it with your own eyes. There, I fucking answered your question. Now, motherfucker, answer my question. Why can you not see Polaris from Australia? Answer me right.
No, Wotan, I'm going to mute you. I swear to God, we're going to mute you. Now listen to me very carefully, because this is what you tend to do. You are not going to dodge this question to ask some other question. If he asks you a direct question, by the way, you've asked him a direct question, and he gave you a very direct answer, it is your turn to answer his question without bringing it to some other question. Do you understand that, Wotan?
Right.
Okay, so his question was very specifically, how do you see Polaris from the southern hemisphere, Australia, whatever? Do you have an image of that?
I could explain it, but whatever.
Well, if he can't, no, I'm okay with Joe trying. But Wotan, would you like to try to explain that?
So all you have is stellar observations to quote unquote disprove.
Okay, you're done. Okay, Joe, obviously he can't do it, so Wotan's done.
All right. If the Earth was flat, to explain the southern stars, you would have to have a virtual environment, like a computer simulation, where each image is subjectively viewed, and to each observer, and that's how you would get it.
Okay, cool. All right, okay. So you got that. How exactly do you explain said subjective image? Is it a projection?
A mental projection, like a dream in a sense, like a video game.
Okay, so we're talking about philosophical projectionism, or are we talking about more of like a super virtual? Virtual. So we're all plugged in. We're all batteries, i.e., the Matrix, right?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Got it. Okay, so do you have any evidence?
Oh, this goes deeper than I thought.
Well, I'm not fighting for it.
No. You're answering the question how Polaris could be seen from Australia. So
it's an explanation.
It's an explanation. Are you for or against this, basic I would say, God, how do I put this lightly? Utter line of bullshit that you're saying. Do you actually subscribe to this, or are you just literally throwing a hypothesis to the wall and hoping it fucking sticks?
What I'm doing is what you should have done is think of other ways that it could happen.
Oh no, I've thought of 100,000 different ways.
It could be magic, but I'm not going to posit that.
Exactly. It could be magic. It could be everybody has retinal implants.
You're the scientist.
Everybody is plugged in. Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. I am the fucking scientist.
And
you're a dude in this bedroom.
Casey, Trevor, by the way, Casey, this is for everybody who don't know. Casey is my co-host on Ideology. We do a show here together on the NonSequitur channel. But Casey, did you watch tonight? What are your thoughts?
I watched some of tonight. Most of it actually, until after good old Joe there got kicked off. And I was really disappointed because I left a super chat just for you, Joe. Just for you.
I can read it. I read it on air, by the way. But you know what? How about we answer it now? So give me one second.
What was the question, Casey?
Yeah, do it.
I can look it up in a second if you don't have
it wasn't a question. It was just a piece of friendly advice.
Go ahead.
For Joe. Oh well, I mean, I don't have it in front of me. It was just about. It was more about the fact that, man, you're on camera, and perhaps you should remember that. And maybe not pick your nose and eat your boogers when you're on camera.
You want to read this? It says, Joe, sweetie. Wait, it's a super chat. Joe, sweetie. See, by the way, he has a thing for you. See, just FYI, he's enthralled by you. Not kidding. Come on, don't reject him that hard, out of hand. You're on camera. Picking your nose and eating boogers is not a good look. Just a friendly tip for you in the future. So it kind of turns women off.
Well, I think it was a really big thing that was going on in the chat, talking about Joe picking his nose, and then at some point he shoves a pen up both of his nostrils. I don't understand. I just don't understand, man.
That's sexy. I don't know.
People can see you.
Joe, are you a real person?
And the chat got distracted. The chat got distracted by your nose picking versus the fucking crazy shit that was going on.
Booger shit. We have Booger Gate on. Hashtag.
This is why it's non-sequitur. We couldn't plan this before.
It's never a good look for you.
If I did that even as a joke, I would be a creationist meme tomorrow.
Well, and the thing is, Joe,
there's already pictures of Aaron.
Joe, you cannot try.
Hey, hold on,
everybody, not at once. You cannot look at people who are in the fields of biology, paleontology, and those type of things, and say "nuh-uh" to what they're saying while picking your nose. It just doesn't.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe. I got Godless Engineer here.
Hey, Joe. I'm wondering, do you like the big fat green ones, or is it more the stringy gooey ones?
Tasty.
Is it like Spaghetti Joe?
Go work on your video.
What conversation you're actually up for speed with?
Something to watch.
I'll be able to handle this conversation, Joe, if you want to answer.
Maybe he's just like trying to tickle his brain to get it to work. Like massaging it to get the blood flowing or something.
I do have to say it's probably
try an ice pick lobotomy. That might work better.
Well, Dr. Mays, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this an evolutionary link to our primate ancestors that would probably do something like, picking your nose and then removing something you're breathing easier, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, whatever nutrients are in there, I should probably.
And actually, I've heard that. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've actually read. Dr. Mays, I've actually read that kids who eat their boogers tend to have a higher immune system. Is that true?
There is no fossil evidence for that, and no soft tissues of that type have been found.
But Joe, to be fair, this is not the worst thing that we've had happen on Non-Sequitur. We also had the guy who drinks his own piss.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
What's wrong with that? I'm just kidding.
It's sterile. You can drink it.
It's not. Actually, that's a fact. That's not true.
I know. Absolutely. No, Truth Hammer, you're 100%. It's absolutely not sterile.
It's close.
It's very close, but then it actually loses its sterility once it passes through the urethra into the air.
Yeah.
And also, why would you want to drink something that your body
in the urethra you've got bacteria too.
Right. Yeah, that too,
absolutely. Right, but why would you want to drink something that your body is clearly trying to expel as waste?
I feel I'm saying is in the words of Patches O'Houlihan on Dodgeball, necessary.
Listen, we have three brilliant we have 3 brilliant people in their field here, and we're talking about boogers and piss. This is the
only on
Okay, now here's the thing. As a actually listed expert in desert survival, drinking your piss is an option. However, what you want to do is you want to actually piss into a reservoir and then apply a filter to it, where then any of the remaining water can then evaporate and collect, and then you drink.
Yeah, I would die after the 3rd day. Fuck that.
Yeah, I'd be totally
I'm dead. Just let me go.
I'm not going to talk about that one time in Australia.
I'd be totally. Yeah,
But
so,
I
might
do
get
have
grub
a
to
nerve.
survive, but that's my extent.
go ahead, Casey.
But I do want to comment on the Izzy person.
Yeah.
That shit is bananas. Like, I just I couldn't help but like get pissed off listening to her, because I can't stand it when people are like, I don't know what the answer is, but I know that it's not this thing.
Terrorism.
And that really pisses me off. It's like, okay, so you know enough, you think you know enough to say that it's totally not dinosaurs, but you don't know what else it could be, other than really old lizards.
Right. Well, that's why I think they're all posed.
Why it's not fallacious?
She said ostriches. Really old ostriches? Me.
Well, that clearly is. I mean, have you seen the big giant? I mean, okay, so there used to be big fucking giant sloths. There could have been giant ostriches. You don't know.
I actually do know. That's the fucked up thing about it. Like, I actually do know.
I'm just giving you shit,
God.
Man.
I know. Like, I mean, yeah, we had terror birds and other terrifyingly huge flightless birds like that. But like, oh my god, I don't know, Mary Schweitzer, all she did was find an ostrich. It's like, really? Do you know what a 2-meter long ostrich? Motherfucker!
Well, also when she said plants, Zero reminded me in the comments that she said plants. I don't know, it could have been a plant. I was like, the fuck you say?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like, oh man.
Yeah, Dr. Mays,
it's a plant with vertebra.
Yeah, how many plants have vertebra?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's like,
I mean, I'm not a biologist, but I'm certain that there are no plants that have vertebrae.
That was bizarre.
What kind of gives me the Poe vibe about it is the focus on dinosaurs. So,
yeah,
you know what? Why is it that she's not? Why isn't there a Christians Against Trilobites
or crocodiles?
Damn them!
I mean, we have nothing to compare them to.
Steve, Steve, that's our new thing.
Against lycopods, or something like that. I don't. I think the emphasis on dinosaurs.
Start Christians Against Trilobites.
Yeah, I think it's.
I'm starting that. Wait,
cats.
I'm registering the Twitter handle right now.
Right. I think that to me says it's probably not legit, because that, you know, why would you have that on there? It's because people know what dinosaurs are, right? So they're gonna get the thing. They're gonna say the thing that gets them the most attention. So if they just say, you know, fossils aren't real in general, that's not going to get them as much attention if they focus it on dinosaurs like that. So
everybody loves dinosaurs.
Yeah, and to add to that,
exactly.
And to add to
and that's
that,
what they're rubbing people's faces in is everybody's love of dinosaurs.
Right, and to add to that, I think the most damning thing about it is that that it's definitely not necessarily on the up and up, is the fact that, well, who do dinosaurs most appeal to? Children. Who do you most want to, you know, force propaganda on?
Absolutely.
Those with impressionable minds.
Why did Ken Ham put dinosaurs on his ark, and why does Kent Hovind own
exactly
Adventureland?
Because kids like dinosaurs.
Yep.
No, yeah, Fleaver,
it's not a synapsid park. It's not a.
But it should be. It would be a lot cooler.
Fuck it, I'm opening.
I know. Yeah, you're just giving him a brilliant idea. Run with that.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm opening
Park.
Park. It's going to be nothing but Raurischians, and it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, that'd be great.
Look at you little synapsid. What do you?
I'd go to that. But that, you know, when they say that it's just museums, when they say it's museums capitalizing on dinosaurs to make money, all of them are using dinosaurs to get attention, drive traffic to their websites too.
Absolutely.
They're using dinosaurs because it's a popular thing to drive traffic to a website.
So they think everyone else is doing it.
They're not talking about anything else but dinosaurs.
Right, it's classic projection.
Absolutely, it's classic projection because dinosaurs are an easy target because, to be honest, paleontologists, there's not a whole lot of us. It's like when the Society of Invertebrate Paleontology rolls around, whether it's in Ohio or LA or Berlin or wherever the fuck, there's about 2,500 of us. We're a very small group. And that's an interesting thing, really. 2,500 of us are responsible for this grand worldwide conspiracy. Okay, no. But the thing that really is something to take a hold to, and Izzy said it herself, is that in December of 2014 is when Christians Against Dinosaurs started. What happened February 4th, 2014? Does anybody remember? Bill Nye versus Ken Ham.
Oh.
So, you have all of a sudden creationism getting thrown to the limelight because everybody, that thing was actually streamed online over multiple things, and that unfortunately gave an air of legitimacy to Ken Ham and all of his bullshit. Because there's a major scientist that's debating it. Immediately thereafter, I wouldn't say immediate, but immediately in geologic time, because again, paleontologists, you had groups come up going, oh, well, this depiction of a dinosaur is wrong. And this, that, the other thing, all of a sudden to, hey, how about Christians Against Dinosaurs? It's absolutely a fucking marketing ploy. At first, I thought it may be a marketing ploy for like a new Jurassic Park film. I was wrong. But it is absolutely a marketing ploy to try and monetize social media. It's trying to be the new satire. The same way that flat earth theory is. Yes, that means you too, Wotan. All of that. It's absolute bullshit. The best way, and it's like, look at, I love to say it actually because it's his birthday today. Look at Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday was a failed dentist, but he made his legendary aspect for being a gunfighter, a womanizing jackass, an addict, and he ended up not dying with his boots on. He made notoriety a thing. EOB and Flat Earth, making notoriety a thing. It's like Christians Against Dinosaurs, making notoriety a thing. Eddie Bravo, making notoriety a thing. Being the skeptic of skeptics is the in deal now. And it's just, man, it's bullshit.
Well, you know what I've noticed, Trevor? There's two ways to get kind of noticed on YouTube. You can actually try to put out very good content, try to be noticed by having something people want to watch that's entertaining and lively, which is the most difficult route to take. Or you can kind of take the easy route and just say stupid shit all the time.
Or you can just be a bitch.
Yep.
That works for me.
They've got a lot more subs than anybody, so much work.
Trevor,
guys, I just got a request to join the Facebook group Christians Against Trilobites. I'm serious.
That's excellent. Hey, Trevor.
It just happened.
Actually, no. Okay, I have
Trevor,
to.
You're now cat.
Let me ask you this, Trevor.
That's not me. I don't have Facebook. I deleted it back and not deactivate, but
Trevor, we have a question for you, Trevor.
Trilobites are evil. They're from
a super chat. This is from Squirrelosis. He says, did most dinosaurs actually have feathers? In other words, did T-Rex look like a giant, terrifying ostrich?
Wait, who? Good question. That's a great question. Who asked that?
Squirrelosis.
Squirrelosis. Hi, Squirrelosis, and thank you for your question. I just wanted to call them out directly. Interestingly enough, a majority of dinosaurs may not have actually had feathers because, like things like ceratopsians and sauropods and all that, we define dinosaurs as two types: avian and non-avian. In non-avian, you've got feathered and non-feathered. So, for example, a triceratops probably did not look like some weird four-legged chicken. No. Raptors, for example, all the dromaeosaurs, your Utahraptor, Deinonychus, Velociraptor, all of that, absolutely feathers. We have found numerous fossils of them that show the quill knobs on the ulna that actually would have feathers. We've actually found imprints of feathers around some of the fossils found. But not all dinosaurs had feathers, but there were absolutely some. Most of them are theropods. Theropod meaning beast foot. If you look at the foot of a tyrannosaur compared to, say, an ostrich, you would see the similarities there. So while, yes, Tyrannosaurus Rex, when it was young, looked like a big fucking chicken, when it was older, it probably lost its proto-feathers. But not all dinosaurs had feathers, no, in a long about way. A little bit rambly. I'm terribly sorry.
Don't they think that some of the ceratopsids had big long quills on their tail?
Yes. Some, and that is specifically because of Proceratops and Aqualots. Both of those did possibly have elongated chevrons on the tops of their caudal vertebrae that could have supported long quill-like things, but they weren't covered in like down or proto-feathers or quillots or anything like that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but those proto-feathers that most theropods do have, they're not as extensive as birds today. They're relatively sparse in comparison.
Correct. A larger theropod, such as like an adolescent tyrannosaur, would have an incredibly fine layer of proto-feather on it that would eventually end up just being like maybe like a shitty mohawk with male pattern baldness and a little bit down its back toward its tail. But when they were young, I know, right? Yeah, think like a shitty mohawk tyrannosaur. But they would not be completely covered. Now, Velociraptor, Utahraptor, Deinonychus, anything like that, absolutely, they would be. Is like, and that's a huge thing I have about the Jurassic series. Velociraptors were not 2 meters tall. They were 1.5 feet tall and about 4 feet long. They were, so the kid in Jurassic Park was right. It was an angry turkey. The little annoying fat kid was right. It's an angry turkey. But Michael Crichton specifically used the name Velociraptor to sound. He used Velociraptor to sound more menacing. Yeah. Exactly. It was based on Deinonychus specifically because Utahraptor was still too new. But they were fully feathered. And to anybody that says feathers aren't scary, I want you to do the following. Go to Google, type in very specifically cassowary attack and hit enter. Feathers are fucking terrifying.
You need to spell that.
I really don't have to Google that, mate.
Spell that.
Oh, no, you don't really have to Google it. Because,
he's from Australia. There's all kinds of shit in Australia that'll fuck you up.
It's like, witness, you're from Australia, then you know what I'm fucking talking about.
Bro.
No. I might. No, those are fucking.
I'm a big dino fan too. So.
I was actually at Australia Zoo, volunteering there for 2 weeks, and they asked me, "Hey, do you want to go in the cassowary pen, mate?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck that scene."
Man, how long ago were you there?
At least 15 years ago. It was before Steve passed. I actually met him while doing some biology work.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I met him doing some biology work in the Red Center of Australia, where we're looking for Moloch Heridius, the thorny devil.
Where were you?
Really? We were about 120 south of Darwin. South of Alice Springs. We flew into Darwin and then went down.
That is frightening.
A day west from where I grew up.
Frightening.
Yeah, cassowary attack is fuck. You don't want to fuck with a cassowary. In fact, you don't want to fuck with anything in Australia.
Yeah.
Except
the women.
No.
Women are awesome.
No. Number one,
the women
will fuck you up if you.
That's why I love them though. Australian women are amazing.
Australian women are amazing. Australian men are amazing. The wildlife, amazing. I've been there 6 times. I've always made a vow that if I ever go a 7th time, I'm emigrating. Because
they have spiders.
Huntsman
spiders rain from the sky in Australia. Fuck that fucking place. I'm never fucking going there.
I gotta tell you, the most frightening thing about this cassowary is the scrotum that's hanging from its neck.
Yes.
It's unnerving to say the least.
Yeah, cassowaries are unfucking comfortable.
I imagine this is what it looks like if a 70-year-old man is running at you.
Trevor, I got a question.
Oh God, a 70-year-old man running at you at like 20 miles per hour? No, thank you.
It'd have to be friggin' beefcaked up though.
You know,
That's strong.
At 70, not likely.
And it's so weird in Australia. They'll take pictures of these huntsman spiders and be like, "Oh, hey, check this out. We have this huntsman spider here." I'd be like, "I'm getting the fuck out. I'm moving."
Oh, interesting thing about the huntsman. Huntsmans are not actually medically significant. You can pick them up. You can toss them.
You can pick them up.
Well, no, if you're not an arachnophobe, yeah. But the thing you need to watch out for are the Sydney funnel web and the redback.
Yeah. Well, those. Yeah. Well,
redbacks.
Well, huntsman can still bite, but obviously, I'm not.
Redbacks aren't so bad. They're
I'm not touching a funnel web.
Medically significant.
Look up peacock spider in Australia.
Cute.
Oh, I know peacock spiders.
Is adorable.
Yeah, they're adorable.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, peacock spiders are adorable.
Y'all are fucked up.
They do the dance.
They're adorable.
And they'll gouge your eyes out too. No, I'm kidding.
They're absolutely adorable.
They're cute.
Yeah, peacock spiders are adorable.
Those I can handle.
Yeah. By the way, cassowaries will fuck you up.
Those are adorable.
Far Cry 3.
Oh, I think they have those on Far Cry.
Yeah, there's Far Cry 3.
There's one peacock spider here with a lightsaber battling another.
Yes.
I just found that too.
There's another video where they put little Christmas hats on them, Santa Claus hats.
Stop it.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing you've ever seen.
Peacock spiders are amazing. They're literally dancing for their lives.
Oh, I love it.
It's like it's the 1970s. Come back, man.
All right, Joe. Let's play what if. Would you rather be bit by?
Oh my God, they do have Santa hats on.
Would you rather be bit?
No.
Would you rather be bit by a redback spider or a huge giant centipede?
All right, good night, Casey. I gotta go to bed.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Good night,
Hi, Joe.
Hi,
Casey. Question, Steve. Trevor, what is the most frightening dinosaur that
ever?
He's like,
bye, Casey. Fuck the rest of us. Bye, Casey. Call me. I'll text you later.
I'm such a dick to him. Why does he like me?
I don't know. Ask him.
That's a turn on with some guys.
He's still here. You can ask him.
He's still here. Joe. Before you know, Joe. Joe. Why? It's like, yeah. What attracts you to her, man? I mean, is this like?
She talks like this. And then she's like that with a little smirk right here.
All right, bye, Joe.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. By the way, Joe, if you like people that talk like that like kick up the side of their mouth, you should watch Sherlock Holmes and immediately be attracted to Mark Strong.
Joe thinks I have a pretty mouth.
Bye, Joe.
That's kind of what he said, right? I guess.
Yes, without saying.
Take the compliment, I guess, right?
You should see the look on GE's face right now. He's like, back the fuck up, man.
Damn, you got pretty man.
Please take a picture of it and send it.
What's the most frightening dinosaurs, Trevor? The one that would that scares you the most, or that you're glad doesn't exist anymore?
Well, I'm sorry. I was like going over dialogue of Deliverance in my head.
It's okay. I'm trying to get you out of there.
Yeah, fuck all too. All right. I'm sorry, Kyle. What was the question?
Most terrifying dinosaur.
Say that there was the most terrifying, not even dinosaur, but one that lived within that period, like the fossil that you found that looks terrifying. Like, what would you consider the most terrifying animal from back then?
Oh fuck.
You had big sharks, big snakes.
Well, I mean, okay. I have to think of it as a human being a land animal. I wouldn't really be in the ocean too much, so like Megalodon and like Fleurodon and all that wouldn't really work. If I was in South America, I would have to say the Farischians, the terror birds. Fuck that scene. It's like 3 meter long birds that could crack your skull open with their beak. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
If I was in excess of 50,000 years ago in Australia, I would say Megalania,
Megalania.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Somebody else knows.
I mean, that thing is basically one of the leading the ideas of this is where dragon legends came from. So,
Exactly. For those of you that don't know, think of an 8+ meter Komodo dragon.
Holy shit.
Spit is like literally acid.
Yeah, it's a varanid from hell.
That'd be not a no. That'd be a hell fucking no.
Yeah, that would be a no.
There's a bird too. It wasn't there that it literally went extinct about 100 years ago. That was capable of picking up kids and taking them off. What was the name of that bird?
Well,
it hasn't been too long.
I mean, golden eagles technically can still do that.
There was an eagle in New Zealand that was huge and probably ate moas and things like that.
Yeah,
that's extinct.
Moas were pretty freaky as well.
But this eagle was I forget the wingspan on it rather than the name, but it was a New Zealand eagle that was extinct. But,
yeah, it was.
But all those animals, all those scary animals. Not to be dramatic or anything, we're no match for people.
Right. Yeah, and that's
like in Australia, those big varanids and stuff went extinct once people got to Australia.
People are the most dangerous animals on the planet.
People got to Australia and lit it on fire.
Yep.
And changed the landscape.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, fire. Yeah, we do not have 100% solid proof that humans were responsible for the extinction of mammoths or mastodons or giant ground sloths or anything like that. However, about 50 to 55,000 years ago, with the emigration of Homo sapiens sapien into Australia, and then the resulting knowledge of what's called fire stick farming, where it is, hey, we know fire. Let's set the fucking environment on fire and kill everything.
Sounds great.
That is actually the only direct evidence of mass extinction caused by humanity during an ice age is only in Australia, and it's only against things like megalania, like I forgot the scientific
sloth, right? Does that mean there's a big example of those what I think is the cutest animal on the planet? Those little
yes, giant ones. You need to go. Yeah. You need to go to the Natural History Museum.
No, Axialis, those little salamander things. Those are the cutest things I've ever seen.
Oh well, yeah, but
no. They look like they're high all the time. They just sit there and
cute.
So, Kyle, yeah, giant sloths. They're not actually related. Well, they're very only distantly related to modern sloths. Xenartha is a different kind of a different thing altogether. But think of a nice, big, slow herbivore the size of a 2.5-story house.
Oh my God, that'd be. I wonder how good they cuddle.
You don't want to be hit because even the smaller ones like Paramylodon harlani and
there it is.
Yeah, no. How long were their claws? I mean, their claws. I mean, like were they 6-inch daggers and shit?
Well, the ones we found at the tar pits, specifically Paramylodon, they had so there's two ways to measure claws. You have what's called a bone root on claws, which is the actual bone that's connected to the end of the terminal phalanx on the finger. They had a bone root that is in excess of 6 inches long. That means their claws themselves were anywhere from 8 to 10 inches beyond that. And they were so large that if they hit you, they would eviscerate you because it's being basically hit by a thorny tree trunk.
They're just misunderstood.
The hymn says big bird.
To be fair, if they
I gotta tell you,
probably on accident.
I gotta tell you, I would call them any pronoun they want to be called.
Yeah,
too soon, Steve. Too soon.
If you actually look, after I'm done talking, witness, go ahead and say something because they just changed their avatar to a megatherium. Even better. Yeah, the ground sloth cool. Eyes group. So yeah, go ahead, witness.
You know, Megalodon could have been a threat if you subscribe to the aquatic ape theory. So
don't even.
They overlap.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You know, for at least 1 million years there. So
that's an interesting theory. Like Joe Rogan did a podcast on that with I forget the guy he was talking to, but I know it was that and the stoned ape theory. He was taking on both of those.
I texted Joe shortly thereafter that and said, "Dear God, why, man?" So yeah,
what's the stone ape thing?
That apes, or our distant cousins, got a hold of psychedelics, and that's how like consciousness and awareness was able to come into play.
Literally.
So that's the Joe.
It unlocked something in our minds for us to be able to.
They became one with the universe. They become shamanistic.
Right. But it has to be psychedelics and not something like mass protein ingestion.
What the hell is that megatherium? That thing's like a giant rodent, man. It looks like it's like a rat that's on supersized pills.
Megatherium and Eremotherium are two of the absolute largest sloths that have ever been.
Hell no.
Now, if you look
to the right, that they were the first woke people.
They were the first flat earthers, too.
Where are we gonna find woke sapien?
Woke sapien. There we go. Yeah, Homo woke.
That's transhumanism. It's gonna be Homo awoke.
Trevor, have you heard anything about sloth burrows in South America? I heard something about that about 2 years ago. Now they think they have found burrowing. Actually trace fossils of sloth burrows.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times. It may be some of the smaller sloth species.
Yeah.
Because, like, if Megatherium was making burrows, it would probably be like a grand excavation akin to a hydraulic shovel. But I don't see things like, Harmalops and everything like that possibly not making burrows or possibly making burrows, because burrows are a completely beautiful way in order to maintain your body temperature, maintain safety. Even some avian species burrow, like burrowing owls of the desert Southwest. I'm personally.
Well, they don't make their own burrows. They steal. They
find existing ones like snake burrows.
Burrowing owls.
There aren't any birds that excavate their own burrows.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Mays. I needed that correction. Thank you very much. But there are. I don't see why they wouldn't. But the weird thing is, they're only of the smaller sloth species, which, I don't. We're still. I don't want to say we. I'm still kind of on the edge, wondering if they were or were not more semi-arboreal or burrowing. I need to ask a couple more ichnologists, paleontologists that are specifically studying trace fossils.
Right.
And I need to see a little bit more paper on that personally, but I think it's kind of a badass idea that, dawn breaks in the early, in the Bolivian aspect of the Pleistocene, and all of a sudden this fucking weird ass thing that walks on the sides of its feet, crawls out and goes, "Well, what treason am I going to eat today?" I mean, that's kind of rad, actually, that you have this.
There were aquatic sloths too. I mean,
yes, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It goes weird shit, but I mean, even though we have modern day analogs to a lot of Pleistocene animals, we still make assumptions on how they would have acted. The La Brea tar pits, I used to be the lab manager there for 5 years.
Oh wow!
And we had all sorts of ideas come through, especially about saber-toothed cats, because we weren't exactly sure on why a felid would have 9-inch long incisors. And I am not joking. One person, he will remain nameless, because I don't want this to go any further, but they considered that they actually used those to climb trees and then use them and then use in an elevated position as an ambush point. So, yeah.
The claws.
No. The teeth. No.
Like a lumberjack, like putting stuff.
Right, I get that, but they have claws.
But I mean, you would think, yeah, sure.
Okay, which is worse? Which is worse, that or thinking that, because we have somebody in our community that thought this. Maybe you guys might guess who this is. They thought that snakes have fangs that before they fall, they use those fangs to like eat apples and suck the juice out.
Stop it. Stop it.
I am not making this shit up.
Kyle, you need to get him on the show.
No. Does anybody know who posited that particular creative theory?
No.
Is it Edgar?
Not Edgar, no. But you're in the realm.
Nephilim Free?
Yes. Yeah, you're the winner.
Of course, it's Nephilim Free.
By the way, Mike Dubois says that Haast's eagle is the bird that ate the moa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Haast's eagle. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, while we're in like a little bit of lull, I paused watching Bachelor in Paradise to come hang out for a few, but like I really need to get back to my show, y'all.
Get out of here.
That's fair.
What the fuck is Bachelor in Paradise?
We'll
Shut
see you
up.
Thursday.
You guys are busy reading about dinosaurs and shit. Let me watch my reality TV. Leave me alone.
Her Myra left now. She's leaving at the same time.
I don't
see
know
Casey with Dr. Kroon on Thursday, where we will be talking about exoplanets. He works at
I can't wait for that. I'm so excited.
Yes.
We'll be learning about Drake's equation and the probability of life on other planets in not a tinfoil hat way, in a actual scientific way, and the exoplanets that they've discovered within the nearest. I guess the nearest galaxies to us. Yeah.
This kind of makes it sound like I'm going to have to do a little bit of research or something.
Wait, so they've discovered exoplanets in Andromeda?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. To be honest with you, that's what he's coming to talk about.
It's the nearest galaxy, so I would assume.
Well, it's not. There's actually a galaxy closer, but that's
I
nearest
think
spiral.
I think he just means the nearest exoplanets to us in the various galaxies. Is what I would venture.
Okay.
But we'll be learning about that, how they find them, and how they name them, all that stuff. So it'll be a really good talk. So join us on Thursday at 8 for that. Thank you, Casey.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
I should have asked Joe if he believed in exoplanets.
He doesn't believe in
He's
space.
not in. He's
he
not
believes in
allowed on
space,
my
right?
show
Yeah, I guess
anymore.
that eliminates the whole exoplanet shit, right? Clearly.
Bye, guys.
Bye. It's the firmament. Do you believe in the firmament, Wotan?
I think Wotan passed out.
Just to jump in here, I actually have to go too.
Yeah, I think we're winding down.
Yeah.
You know,
and by the way, they did find. Well, they think they found one in Andromeda. By the way.
Yay!
Thank you, Dr. Mason.
For my reading list, I can recommend this if you like dinosaurs. It's pretty good. This new book by Steve Brissot.
Steve, again, seconded. Steve Brissot is fucking
It's very, very
amazing.
good. So
Rise
if
and
anybody
Fall
wants a dinosaur read, this is a good one, and it's brand new. So
excellent.
There's my
awesome.
pick.
Well, we'll see.
Pick of the
If
week.
not before, we will see Dr. May's September the 5th for his debate against Nathaniel Jensen. It's going to be a good week. That's our Answers in Science week. A little tongue-in-cheek there. So
yeah, and I'm talking to John already about comparing notes. Getting ready. So
John's a good guy. So we're excited to have him on the day before. So
Okay. Well,
Dr. Mace.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Absolutely.
Good to see you, Dr.
Bye.
Mason. Thank you very much.
See ya.
Good night.
We'll be having John Perry from Stated Clearly. I said this earlier, but just so you guys know again, he runs a channel that explains like things in science, like evolution. He did one with Mary Schweitzer, which was really good. But he illustrates things like evolution in a very very straightforward way that people can follow. If you're like me, that I can't follow the high tech and the technical words and definite. You know what I'm saying? Like if that kind of confuses you like it does me, like if I get around math or technical things, my brain just breaks. So John's actually coming on that Tuesday. The debate's on Wednesday. He's coming Tuesday to go through Dr. Nathaniel Jensen's book, Replacing Darwin. And I actually have it somewhere here. But in a way that everybody can follow. And so that on Wednesday, when we get to the actual debate, here it is. When we get to the actual debate, you might have a better grasp on the terms and stuff that are in here. So looking forward to that. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Okay, well,
a lot thinner than I thought.
Actually.
Oh, by the way, let me announce this too. I have been hard at work these past 3 weeks putting together something for you guys that have a Google Home, like a home or home mini.
Yeah.
If you do, you can now direct your Google. I got my type here. You can now direct your Google Home to play you the latest episodes of Non-Sequitur, and your Google Assistant will instantly pull those up for you. So
Impressive.
your favorite episodes of the show are now in action for Google Home. I'm excited about that. I have been programming that for like 3 weeks, and it works.
Ooh, wait a minute.
So if you
Okay, Google, play the Non-Sequitur podcast.
Okay, playing the latest episode of the Non-Sequitur Show, episode 22. Ideal light bulb LOGY number 2.
Nice! That's rad!
Which one is it playing? Wait, which one is it playing?
It's currently playing episode 22.
That's the one I did today.
What the If?
What the If? That's one I uploaded today.
That's fucking rad. I have that playing in the background.
So let me tell you, that is kind of cool to see it happen live on somebody else's thing. But it, like, getting it to work, it took me like the first week. I would I typed in the code because you have to go through all these steps to get it to work, and I would be like, okay, play the latest episode of the Non-Sequitur Show, and it would start. It would actually pull up the cartoon Non-Sequitur. You know that a lot of newspapers. So I had to battle that for a long time, and I finally got it to where it learned the difference between Non-Sequitur the cartoon and Non-Sequitur the show. And I was like, no, we're the dumpster fire.
Hey Kyle, hey Kyle, all the people in the live chat, half of them are now listening to the podcast because it triggered their Google.
You're welcome. You are so welcome. Oh, wait. I want to see. Okay, so there's a lot of people listening on the podcast. Okay. Wait 1 second. Alexa, order Rise and Falls of the Dinosaurs by Stephen Brissett.
Nice. This is awesome.
Oh shit! Wait, my Alexa's doing it. 1 second. Alexa,
I just have Cortana. I feel out of place.
cancel order.
That's fantastic. Okay. So yeah, I think we're. This has been for like what, Steve? How long have we gone?
This is like 4 hours. And by the way, people have all said, or a lot of people have said that this was the best show and after show combination that we've ever had. So
I agree,
guys. Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. Trevor, will you come on again, please?
When do you need me?
Yes, please.
Whenever.
Okay.
I would love to. We would love to have you back.
Yeah, you're going to be a regular if we can get you because you're amazing, dude. Even I'm in awe.
We can go through different. It doesn't have to be a debate. A lot of our audience likes hearing like presentations on things. And Bill, we need to get you on here too, Bill.
Bill's a busy guy, man. Once he hits superstardom.
Bill, I bow down to the mastery that is Bill Ludlow. Holy shit, dude.
Why have we not had you on here?
Either one of y'all would come here to Houston.
I've got a lot going on right now. I think I told you guys about the track site that I discovered up on the Mogollon Rim here in Arizona.
What?
Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, 3.5 years ago, I was fishing with my son, and I stumbled on some 270 million year old pre-dinosaur mammal-like reptile tracks, and it turned out that it was a place called Willow Springs Lake. I was literally sworn to secrecy for the first 3 years, or about 2.5 years, till we did the first excavation. And worked with the New Mexico Museum of Natural History with Spencer Lucas. He's the kind of the national authority on Permian footprints, and the federal government, because it's federal government land. And I discovered 22 sets, and what I call as a set might be 2 or 3 tracks, or it might be 100 prints on a 10x7 slab, And well, this year, and we did the excavation last year in August, and I published some stuff on my Facebook page, and I've done some presentations at the Arizona Museum of Natural History about it, and the Southwest Paleontological Society. I've done presentations there. But this year, the water level is so low. It's like a historic low because of the drought we're having in the Southwest. I ended up discovering in just a couple trips to the same location more than what I discovered previously. So it went from like 22 sets to where we're up between about 45 and 55 sets of tracks now. I don't even actually know the number. Every time I go there, I keep finding more, and it's turned into one of the largest track sites in the Southwest. So we're doing another excavation coming up in October, and I've been working on a video to get something out there because I haven't published on YouTube in a while, but something about the tracks. But it's like every time I do something, we find more, and it's not done yet. It's like I kind of wanted it to wrap it all up into one package and put it out there, but it's just it keeps building and keeps getting bigger. So it's been really cool. So, but definitely, I think I'm going to do something soon on the initial discovery, and then I'll put something out there probably in November once we wrap it all up in October. So,
do you have any?
Talk about it. That could be an entire episode right there.
Yeah, there's a couple different types of tracks that have never been found in the Coconino Sandstone before. So, it's really.
Do you have any presentations of that coming up at all?
What?
Well,
do you have any present? Well, I'm Arizona native too, so I
yeah. I don't really right now, other than if you go to my Facebook page and look through my photo albums, I've got I show where earlier this year I discovered a bunch more, and then there was something published August of last year about 35 photos of the excavation and everything. So. But I like I said, I am going to try to finish a video. I did a presentation not too long ago at the museum, and somebody filmed it. But the format that they filmed it in, and just the quality of the video filming the screen that we were using wasn't really what I wanted. So I think I'm just going to take the slideshow that I did and narrate it and do a video that way. I think that'll come out much better. It's about a 30-minute presentation. I'll do that and put it up on YouTube. And then again, hopefully I'll have something in November about the excavation we're doing in October. So
Bill, I had no idea that you were involved with the Moenkopi Dinosaur Trackway.
Well, it's not Moenkopi. This is Coconino Sandstone. And it's about 265 to 270 million years old. So it's actually an older formation. Yeah.
It's older than Moenkopi? Why?
Yeah, and it's pre-dinosaur by about 50 million years. And I actually did a presentation.
I haven't heard anything about this. What the hell?
I did a presentation at the Geological Society of America meeting in May or in March up in Flagstaff, Arizona, when we had the regional meeting up there. It was May, yeah. That we did the regional meeting up there, middle of May. So,
wow. And that even tells you that like paleontologists, we don't even hear everything about it. So it's still, it's still Coconino, but it's not the Moenkopi.
Coconino, but yeah, it's previous to that, probably.
Holy shit!
Yeah. And no dinosaurs. Again, it's pre-dinosaur, mammal-like reptile. The largest tracks are that we found now about 3.5 inches, probably like an early Gorgonopsid type.
Whoa!
A lot of cynodont tracks that are smaller, average an inch to inch and a half, but I've got perfectly preserved tracks as small as 1 centimeter wide.
Jesus, that's...
Now, explain that in a worldwide
where is
So, yeah.
What the fuck? Where is this outside of?
This is 100 miles from where I live. It's up on the Mogollon Rim. It's the southern edge of the Colorado Plateau.
Okay.
About 30-40 miles east of Payson, Arizona. So
holy
about
shit.
200 miles from the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And it's at the edge of what was an inland sea. The Grand Canyon was more towards the center of this inland sea there. And that's why we see the layers that are one layer on top of another. With
right.
But this is at the edge of the inland sea, and we see a lot of interbedding between the layers there, back and forth between the Hermit Shale, the Coconino Sandstone, and the Snebly Hill Formation. So, and it was like right near the edge, so the water table would have been high enough, especially in between dunes or in along the shoreline, to where it was preserving tracks. And in fact, the funny thing is, this lake is 2.5 miles around. All the tracks I found were within 1/3 of a mile. They're all right in one area. There's none around the rest of the lake. So it was just a hot spot. So.
Can you send me a link on this? Because this is the first time.
You say you're not on Facebook, or
I'm not on Facebook. No, I'm only on Twitter.
Give me afterwards. We'll hook up some out. You give me your email. I can send you some images and stuff too.
Oh, Trevor Valle at gmail.com.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna be wrapping up here soon. By the way, I gotta get a couple super chats out real quick. At least this one. Sweet Heathen for $10. I had a really difficult night tonight, but popping in and out of here kept me sane. The balance of this atmosphere is soothing as well as stimulating. Never disappointed, and we are happy to stimulate you.
It kept you sane.
We're all here to stimulate you.
That's not something that we hear all the time. Usually, we're the cause of people's breakdown.
Yeah, I can see that.
But thank you for that, Sweet Heathen. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, guys, this was fantastic. Anybody have any last thoughts that they want to wrap up with before we?
Yeah, we gotta get Trevor and RM Huffman together.
I'd like to add on to Sweet Heathens and say that I do agree that this podcast helps keep me sane. This show in general, because
I never thought I'd ever hear anybody say something like that. This is weird to me.
It is really nice to come to a place where people actually discuss things and people are actually talking about things and they're not just yelling at each other. They're actually having a discussion. It's nice to actually see like actual progress being made with people who know what they're talking about and education actually happening. And I feel like that happened.
Which episodes are you talking about here?
Pretty much every single one I've seen. I mean, the hosts, you guys don't really seem like you're never too hard on them. You always seem like you're more informative rather than being, adversarial, and that is, I feel like in the age we were talking earlier, in the age where you want to get, views and clicks and likes and blah, blah, blah.
It's a difficult balance, not going to front.
Right.
But, we made a decision. We don't do this strictly for views. I mean, anybody that can run a channel that can want to do something outlandish to try to get views, they can try to do. But that's not the goal that we're going for. I mean,
but of course we want views because you do this for, because you want people to.
Yeah, we do it for. Yeah, I mean, to say we don't do it for views is silly, but
it would be a lie. But I early on,
we put out content we want to put out.
That there was a lacking thing on YouTube, and that was kind of what you were touching on. There's a lack of nowadays. People are too far to the extremes. They're either too far right, too far left, too far
too far moderate now.
The middle has been forgotten, and the reason for that, I believe, is because people forgot how to talk to each other and have a conversation. If they
I did meet a militant agnostic the other day, though.
There's one on Twitter.
Oh no, we know. Yeah, we all know who militant agnostic
told
is.
me you don't know, and neither do I.
Oh, dude, I've gotten words with him, and I'm agnostic, and so even he drives me apeshit.
Wow.
So.
But if we all try to get back to the middle's a good place, and people forget that. So you can have your extremes and your extreme views, but all that does is cause fighting and for it to be a constant barrage of attacks between each end. And I saw that there was this void of that. Like, people are either attacking each other in their videos, but they weren't talking. There's no kind of conversation. So by facilitating, yes, people like Wotan and Joe and Izzy, they aggravate us because we can't get in their heads and understand where they're coming from. But what we try to do is not just attack them. We bring in experts in case, like for Joe with the viruses, we brought in an immunologist. Tonight, we bring in a paleontologist. So we try to inform them from people who know what they're talking about. And if at that point they can't grasp it, then hopefully we swayed somebody who might be on the fence. But that's about all.
Yeah, you can't save them all. But we try to make sure that we have the appropriate people for the right discussions, right? And that's part of the charm of the Non-Sequitur Show is matching up the right combinations, which is why I want to get Trevor and RM Huffman together. Because would you be down for that, Trevor? He said he would.
Wait, who are you? You're
Huffman, the surgeon that doesn't know biology. That's a young Earth creationist.
Oh, the dude that I was going against?
Yeah, that dude. Yes.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, he's fucking mine.
I thought that you might jump on that. That's why I was surprised you didn't jump on it earlier.
No, he's so mine, especially after he chicken shitted out on Twitter, going, "Oh, why don't you schedule?" It's like, I believe in this. Why don't you schedule Hovind or blah blah blah? And I'm like, oh yeah, look at you backing down.
Yeah, we got to make that happen. That's Dr. RM Huffman. Yeah.
Dinosaurs. I will own him like a fucking cheap suit.
Well, let me tell you something, Trevor. That's going to be a firework show because he is very confrontational when debating. Every time that we've had him on.
Oh, I'm sure Trevor's scared.
Oh
no, I'm just saying. It'll be one of those. It'll be one of those where it was like imagine if Aaron Ra was against what Trevor does and putting them two in the now we're gonna have a conversation with Aaron and Trevor both on the dinosaurs in a what's the word, a colleague way. It won't be a debate because they both
right.
But just having them two on here to talk, I think will be fantastic. But Dr. Huffman, that'll be fireworks.
Oh, so I'll rip them apart.
That whole extreme thing I was just talking about, where people have conversations.
Got to have one every so often. It's got to happen. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be like eliminating dumpster fires. That's half the charm.
I just want to know one. I just want to know one thing. I was off, taking a piss, and I noticed in the little list here that Wotan left. Did he ever actually say anything about the geotagged thing about
No,
Polaris?
no. He tried changing it to some other topic. Like,
of course he did, because
you can't see curvature. You can't see curvature.
Deflected.
Yeah.
You can't see curvature.
He deflected.
Oh man, I wish I would have been able to actually bring up math to him, because I actually calculated.
What's math? I can't see that with my eyes.
Exactly. I calculated their whole aspect of what is their whole deal. Real quick, they claim that the sun is about what is it, like 3,000
3,500 miles away, 35 miles wide. Yeah,
it's like 32,000 miles, and then the Earth is a 10,500 diameter flat plane. The interesting
disk, it depends.
Disk, yeah, whatever. Interesting thing about that is that at a distance of 15,000 miles, a 32-mile wide sun that's 3,000 miles up would be about 11.5 degrees above the horizon. So that means incredibly viewable. So that means when it was midnight in Wellington, New Zealand, you could see the sun in Madrid. So, what the fuck?
Yeah, but water finds its level, Trevor. So checkmate.
I know, right?
You do realize that Jared is
this exact thing has been debunked on so many.
Absolutely.
But
make water stick to a ball.
Trevor, you do realize that Jeranism didn't even understand the concept of pi, right? I mean, this is the level that they're.
I absolutely know. And Jeranism is an exact, a absolute exact fit to the I'm going to monetize conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Oh, he's
a shining beacon of truth, though. He's a shining beacon of truth, though.
Oh yeah, no, he's a fuckwit, and I challenge him any day. I will stomp his ass like, oh man, I'll drop him like third period French.
Unfortunately, we would love to host that, but he won't have anything to do with it.
And let me put a shout out.
Of course he won't, because he will only do it on his terms. Just like Eric Dubé.
It's because he thinks that Steve and I are complete liars, because he didn't pick up on sarcasm with me saying that I don't think we went to the moon.
Yeah. And by the way, let me put a shout out real quick to Tau Ceti Alpha. If you haven't seen Tau Ceti Alpha's latest video, that just wrecks Jeranism. Go on his channel and watch it, because he actually literally shows Jeranism saying one thing: "Oh, I accept evolution," or "I don't accept evolution." "Oh, I'm not a Christian." "Oh, I accept this." He's all over the place. He'll do whatever it takes.
Jesus to suck his dick.
Yeah, he'll take. Dude, he has no core. He doesn't care. He just says whatever bullshit comes out of his mouth that he thinks will placate the people giving him money for his Patreon, which, by the way, is fucking huge. And
huge,
massive, and so it's ridiculous that he gets that much to spew bullshit. So there is money to be made there, but you know what? There's something that we have called ethics and honor that he's not aware of, and that's why I think it's even more detrimental to his own character when he's trying to tell us what Kyle was thinking.
Absolutely,
and what he believed. It's like no,
and that's the whole thing. I challenge Eric Dubé to come back to the United States.
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
he never will.
Why would he? What advantage does he have to doing it?
Well, I mean, he's avoiding, prosecution.
Yeah, but what advantage does he have to even engage with anybody?
Oh yeah, none. Zero.
He's made it. He's got his followers. He put out the bullshit. He's living comfortably.
He never does live debates. He only does video answers, because that gives him the time to craft a narrative. That's his entire point.
There's coming a day when flat Earth will cease to be a movement like it is. Will there be people that always believe the Earth is flat? Of course. But it will not be a movement, I don't think, much longer like it is now. There just gets to a point where you've just been proven to be completely false and wrong so many times. And once the novelty of flat Earth wears off, what will you do then? What will all of you people that have sunk in money and support and your time into this movement, what will you do then?
Because virus or realism?
It's not going to last forever.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, and that's it. It's I don't understand people how fucking obvious this shit is, because it's like literally this was not a big deal until after, and I give Bill Nye all of the credit to go toe to toe against Ken Ham. I mean, it's not hard. It's fucking Ken Ham. Have you ever noticed that he actually looks a little bit like Dr. Zayas?
Dr. Zayas.
Zayas. Dr.
Yeah,
Zayas.
I gotta admit, I hate to say it, but I like Bill Knight, but I don't think that he was the correct choice in that particular debate.
But it's not just that.
Other people could have been, that's for sure.
That is very Bill, 100%. No,
he was a name though. It was a name drop.
Way more. Yeah, it was a name drop. But that immediately, that whole thing, it was like international news. That it was like science versus creation.
It wasn't though. It was like science versus bullshit.
Well, yeah.
That's why I hate things like that.
Not Your Witness has the best avatar changes, by the way.
I mean, if you look at it statistically, there's a hockey stick of cranks before ham on nigh, and then after. It is literally like, oh well, shit. If I have a fucked up viewpoint that goes against the status quo, I'm going to be able to have a whole bunch. Oh my God, really? Witness?
It's a double-edged sword. I mean, look at. Let's be realistic here, and I know we got to end this here soon. We're at 2 hours, but look at. So, like when Bill debated Kent, okay, there was obviously putting Bill on the map, and as damn well should. He deserved every fucking thing that he's gotten, and he's amazing. I love Bill, but it also gave an uptick to Kent.
Yes.
So it's a double-edged sword, and I don't think that was. I think the uptick to Kent, however, was a lot of people that just don't like Kent, right? I think there are a lot more hate subs, but there is an uptick to. So it's a double-edged sword, but I don't regret having that debate. I don't regret having that discussion. I think that was the downfall of Kent overall because Bill literally led the way to show how you take down somebody of this magnitude of dishonesty and ineptitude. That's how you do it.
Bill was the downfall. Arn was the coup de grace to.
Coup de grace. Yeah, he was.
You guys, anything you want to push him down? Arn finished him off.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm in the camp that says yes, where it was beautiful that these were all taken down, and we have the ability to point and laugh at Ken Ham and Kent Hovind and Dwayne Gish and all those, metric shit-given fuckwits.
Don't forget Ray Comfort.
I never mention him in polite company. Because I need to have, whenever I mention Ray Comfort, I need to have a banana, and I just don't have one right now.
Well, now you have to have
there it is.
Close enough. Not just got the cover,
and
brother.
Witness just put up the fucking Ray Comfort.
God, that's so hot.
The thing is, it unfortunately, I think there was a little bit of a backlash that then gave. Wow, I've been drinking. That gave an air of legitimacy to anybody with a fucked up idea to try and get bigger, like Jaronism, Eric Dubay, all of these idiots. And then that's just like, oh, well, maybe I can get big enough to the point where a huge mega fucking scientist will debate me, and I'm going to be able to subscribe, have people pay to subscribe to the debate. And it's literally there. It's a fucking handful.
Well, did you notice Joe admitted though he doesn't get embarrassed easily, and I think that's a quality most of them have. They don't get embarrassed easily. They have no self-conscious where they're like, I don't care if I look stupid. Fuck off, whatever. Most of us, however, we don't want to appear to be stupid, mostly for the fact that we want to put out correct information. We want to be thought of somebody who is not completely a moron, and maybe they don't, right? Maybe they honestly don't care.
No, absolutely. But see, I'm their worst
nightmare. Morons.
Right. I'm their worst. I'm their worst nightmare because I'm a drunken paleontologist that has nothing to lose.
Well, I think you, and I believe that it has been reflected in the chat that everybody loves you as well. We couldn't be happier with you agreeing to come on.
Yeah, Trevor, thank you. Sincerely, this was so much more fun than I even imagined.
Hey,
so
no worries. Hashtag angry paleontologist. Hashtag big paleo. I mean,
big paleo.
It's like I'm a big dude. Come on, I'm 6'1", 330. I will go toe to toe with any motherfucker that thinks they can do better.
That hashtag big paleo.
It's like fuck that scene, man. It's like I'm more than happy to come on here. It's like I'm doing this for free. I'm not getting any money about it. Whoa, what's going on? Why? Oh, that's right. Sorry, beer. I just spit on my camera. Wow,
that's all right.
Let's fix that, shall we? Oh, look, ta-da! I didn't get any money for this. I did this of my own free will. I'm not, they're not my shill. It's like, They're not my, this isn't part of my shill network. But yeah, man, fuck pseudoscience. Fuck these people that think they can monetize stupidity. We have enough problems going on in this nation right now. Witness, you're so lucky you're in Australia. I'm fucking jealous.
Amen.
But damn, it's just, I am more than happy to come on and literally just throw the big paleo dick around and call people fuckwits. I'm totally down.
That's what we're for. That's why we have this platform.
And Bill, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. It's a pleasure to have you as well. We would love to get you whenever you're
welcome,
slows down to come on and go in detail about what you're doing. I think that'd be a great thing to do.
All right, everybody all at once. Can we everybody give the Illuminati? Come on, Bill. There we go. Good night, guys.
For Lyle, every time his mouth moves, and Steve McCreep, we have been Non Sequitur After Shows.